All right, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Once again, this is the second day of Power Pages Weekend Workshop. Just wanted to give a quick recap of what we have done yesterday. So yesterday we discussed about all the fundamentals of the Power Pages, and we set up the trial environment, we set up the environments, and we set up the data models, and we have set up some basic configuration on the portals like pages, forms, list, some security related stuff. We also discussed about the content snippets, how you can manage your content on the portal. We have also learned like how you can write the JavaScript. So, and how you can write the reusable JavaScript code as well. We discussed also about the styling, how you can do the branding and the styling of the portal. And we have also discussed about how you can set up the Azure B2C, that is the recommended way of authentication or the identity provider on the portal, and then how you can automate the portal invitation process. So these things we have discussed yesterday. And today I'm going to discuss about some advanced features of the Power Pages. For example, like if you have to set up or if you have to create a custom page, then how you can do that on the portal, because every product needs a customization. So same thing with the portal as well. So being a developer, we should know about it, like what are the different components and what are the different ways available on the portal where you can customize that, how you can write the code, how you can extend the existing component or the features, how you can do the integration. So today topic is all about the customization and the extending of the Power Pages portal. Now, we're also going to discuss about some different ways to integrate the Power Pages, since it is one of the common requirement that how you can integrate your Power Pages with some external applications or external databases. So we're going to discuss about that. Some new features. We have been discussing all the latest features like Copilot, AI, and everything during the session. So today also we will discuss about some of the features, whatever come across during the training. We'll also discuss about the troubleshooting and debugging approaches, because it's quite common thing, like when you are doing the development, how you can do the troubleshooting and debugging, because portal is a SaaS based application, and you don't have any server side code as such. So how you can do the debugging on the client side, and what are the different options that Microsoft has provided to you. And then we'll also discuss about how you can extend the Azure B2C pages. And then finally, we'll discuss about Power Pages deployment options as well. Okay. All right. So I'll switch back and forth between my slide deck and my Power Pages environment. I'll discuss some fundamental stuff about the customization and the components that you can extend. Then I'll show the demonstration in my live environment. Okay. So if I talk about the Power Pages customization and the extension, like why, so being a developer, first of all, we should understand like why I need the customization on the portal. So it's not about the Power Pages. I know like Microsoft represent that as a low code, no code website. Same like the other component like Canvas app and other thing. But when you are working in the real project, you really need to write the code in order to map the client expectations. Okay. So so being a developer, you should understand like what are the best practices, and what are the customization options are there, because sometimes I have seen people don't follow the best practices, something which is already available in the product, but still we are doing the custom development for that. So there are different business scenario where we actually need the customization. For example, whenever we have to do the client side validations, for example, mobile phone validation, email validation, or it depends on whatever requirements you have in your project. And then if you have to create a custom web page where you have to have the full control of all the controls, how the the user experience or the user interface should look like. So if you have to design the complete custom page, then of course you have to do the custom development. If you have to perform the CRUD operations, we have seen yesterday, like some of the components out of box allow you to perform the CRUD operations like forms, like the basic form and multi-step forms and the list, right? So these are the out-of-box component where you can directly insert, update, or delete the data from the portal directly. But sometimes you have to create your own, pages where you have to create some, let's suppose, edit tables upgrade or custom HTML pages, and then you have some custom buttons on the portals, and you want to perform the CRUD operation. You want to have the full control of the CRUD operation on the Dataverse. So that is also required to do the customization. If you have to design your own control that doesn't exist in the Power Pages, so yeah, in that case also you have to write the code to customize the default components, look and feel of the pages. So sometimes the default styling and out of box styling doesn't fit for your need, so sometimes you need to write the JavaScript for the styling as well. Okay, and if the out of box component doesn't fit your need, then sometimes you customize the existing components, or if you have to integrate the portal with the external APIs or data sources, or if you have to interact with some other Power Platform components like Power BI, Copilot agents, and the Power Apps, Canvas app, Power Automate, then in that case also you need to do the customization. Some of the trigger based business logic, for example, these kind of business logic, you don't need to directly write it in the portal, but you can write these business logic whenever any trigger happens or event occurs on the Dataverse. Okay, for example, you can write the plugins, workflows. You can also create the Azure functions. So I'm going to discuss about that in the next slide, like what are the customization options that you have. And the last one is to display the data on the website in real time without storing it in the Dataverse. So I have also seen this kind of requirement in my project also. Sometimes, you have to directly call an external API and pull the data and display it to the portal without being storing it into the Dataverse. Okay, so in that case also you need to write the JavaScript code or secure way of writing a code to interact with that API. Okay, so and of course, if you come across any other complex business requirement, you can also send me in the chat so that we can also discuss about that after the training. So these are a couple of things that require the customization on the portal. And if we talk about like what are the different options that we have to write the code or customization components that we have, some of them we have already discussed yesterday. But as you can see, like we can write the HTML, we can also write the JavaScript, jQuery. We have the Power FX. So currently it is in preview mode, but I'm expecting like in near future, you can expect many things like a lot of expressions or the lot of functions that we have in the Canvas app, Power Automate, and in the model driven app. So in the similar like that, we are going to have all those expressions in the Power Automate, Power Pages as well. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about that as well, because currently we have very limited features available and it's in preview, but you should aware about it, like Power FX is also supported now in the Power App, Power Pages. Low code plugins. So it is not directly linked with the portal, but as I said, like sometimes if you have to write your code or extend the business logic, you really have to write the complex business logic server side. But that should be triggered when any event occur in the Dataverse, like whenever a record gets created in the Dataverse, you have to trigger the logic, or whenever any update happens in the Dataverse, you have to trigger the logic. So in that case, you can also use the Dataverse plugin that we were using till now. It's a C# code, but you can start using the low code plugins as well. Okay, I'm not sure whether in which region is currently in preview and which is region it is currently generally available, but I think it's a good option to start using it if you have to write the server side code. Cloudflow integration, we are going to have a demo of that as well. So if it's a good feature, it's my personal favorite feature of the Power Pages that actually extend the portal capabilities to 1000 plus connectors. So this feature allows you to interact with 1000 plus data sources and without writing a code. So it's very good feature for the low code, no code developers. And it's a near real time and this asynchronous approach to interact with the data. Real time workflows. So this is also, as we already know, like we have very limited option to perform the synchronous business logic on the portal, and not only on the portal, in the Dataverse also we have very limited options. So one is the real time workflow and one is the plugin, and we don't have any other option to trigger our logic synchronously. So real time workflow is also a very good way. So workflow is going to be deprecated in near future, as Microsoft also recommend like start using Power Automate, but there is no announcement yet for the real-time workflows because there are a lot of advantage of using them. So you can still use that because real-time workflow you can directly call it from the portal as well if you are creating that as a on demand. Okay. If time permits, I will also show that how you can directly trigger the real-time workflow if you create that workflow as a real time. Liquid code, we are also going to use that. It's a new language that is developed by the Shopify website, and we are going to use that for customizing the page on the portals. So if you have to dynamically display the data, so if you have to write the mix up of code, for example, you have to write the fetch XML, you have to write the HTML, CSS, and if you have to create the reusable component, so liquid code is the best way to do that. One of the major advantage of writing liquid code, compare with other programming language that supports in the portal, liquid code allow you to interact with other Power Pages components. Okay, for example, you are writing a code in the web template and you have to pull the data from the site setting, content snippet, or site markers, or the web link set. So you don't need to query to the Dataverse. So it directly supports. I'll show you that as well. It directly you just need to write a single line of code in order to read that data from that specific component. So it allows you to communicate with the different portal components. So you don't need to query that. Okay. So yesterday that I discussed, like your content is stored in the content snippet and you are writing your HTML and JavaScript in the different component like web page or the web template. Now you need to pull your content from the content snippet. So as I said yesterday, and I demonstrated as well, you can directly use that snippet line without writing a code. Okay. So this is one of the example of liquid code. Portal Web API is also one of the way where you can perform the CRUD operation in the Dataverse. Before the Cloudflow, Portal Web API was quite famous because that is the only way available on the portal for the developers to perform the CRUD operations. But nowadays we have the cloud flows available. So I have seen very limited use cases for that, but we still use the Portal Web API. If you ask me like, which one to use in which scenario, so for Cloudflow is basically for the low code developers. You can expedite your writing your logic. You can write your complex business logic in the Cloudflow. You can interact with 1000 plus data connectors, but that capability is not there in the Portal Web API. Portal Web API also comes with some limited operations. For example, like whatever operation you want to perform on the Dataverse, it comes with some limited operations. Okay, and the another thing is that sometimes it is dependent on the professional developer. So if you have a good knowledge of JavaScript and jQuery, then I think you can use the Portal Web API as well. Okay. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind while using the Portal Web API and the Cloud Flows. Web components, I'm going to demonstrate that. It's a new feature. Yesterday I shown you like how you can create the reusable component. So web component is also part of that. So similar way in the model driven app, you create the PCF controls or components. You create the components outside the Dataverse and then import it as a solution. And then you can start using it across the Power Platform. So it is similar like that. So web component, you can create the reusable component for the portal so that you can use it across the Power Pages sites. Okay. PCF control, it is not directly linked with the portal, But sometimes if you have to create a control that is not available in the portal, and you want to reuse that control in the model driven app, in the Canvas app, or in the Power Pages side, so you can create a standalone independent component outside the Dataverse, and then you can import that as a solution. So once you import that as a PCF control solution, you can reuse that not only on the model driven app, Canvas app, but also you can use it on the portal. So just some small configurations are needed. Then you can directly use those PCF controls in the portal as well. Well, and then we have the Azure DevOps and the Power Platform CLI, and that is specifically for the deployment. I'm going to discuss about that as well. So Power Platform CLI is basically you need to use the command line interface, some commands to interact with the Dataverse data. So for example, if you have to take the export of the portal data, if you have to import the portal data, if you have to push the data into the GitHub repository or Azure DevOps. So these kind of things, you can do it using Power Platform CLI. So this is also one of the way if you want to write the code or if you want to interact with the command line interfaces. APIM, Azure functions, these are the Azure components, but sometimes I have seen like in the project you can still use them because imagine you are creating an API or you are calling any external API and you want to provide an additional layer of security on top of that. So you can use the APIM feature because APIM has some additional security features, like you can do the IP whitelisting, you can apply the conditional access policies, and many other features you can apply. You can change the endpoint URL, you can change the name of the APIs. So sometimes when you are creating the APIs, you have the specific requirement to change the name of it, block the API in a certain regions, some IP whitelisting kind of things. So if you are calling any API or you are creating your own API and calling it in the Power Pages, then I think APIM is a good way to secure that or provide an additional layer of code security. But it all depends on what kind of license you have, because APIM comes with the additional license because it's a Azure component. But yeah, I'm just talking about like what are the possibilities you have to extend the portals. Okay. Dataverse plugins and webhook I discussed, like low code plugin is for the low code developers. But currently that we have is a Dataverse plugin C# code. So if you have to write some .NET code in the background on the server side, whenever any event occurs on the portal, then you can write the Dataverse plugin. And webhook is also one of the way where you can where you can directly call the Azure functions as well. And sometimes you can also call the Power Automate as well. I have seen like you can also call the Power Automate using webhook. So this is also one of the way you can extend the portal. Business rules, if they are the server side, then they also support because like business rules supports client side on the forms and on the server side. So if they have written server side, then they also supports on the portal as well. Custom workflows, assemblies, custom API. So these are also the server side code. If you have written, then definitely they also support. And in the last white box, you can see like if you have some external APIs or the libraries, you can also use that, like some partner libraries like mask controls, real-time communications like Signal IR, sophisticated UI framework like Angular, React, and other business services like address validations, map API, routing service, logistics. So there are different APIs. Sometimes you might need to use it directly from the portal so that you can also use it. So these are the different ways how you can customize the Power Pages site. Okay, but before discussing about the integration options, I'll just quickly demonstrate a way how you can customize that. So let's start with the demonstration. So let me go back to my Power Apps, make.power apps site here. So everything, whatever you have to do, you have to first head over to the make.powerapps.com, choose your environment, and then go to the apps. And here you can find the Power Pages Management app. So if you have to do the portal customization or if you have to create anything, then you can do it here as well. It's a model driven app. Otherwise, if you have to open the Design Studio, then go to the websites, click all, and then edit the website. So this website I have created for me, and this website I have created for you yesterday. Okay, so for example, like I have set up already a lot of things in my website so that I don't need to recreate everything from the scratch. Otherwise, I'll not be able to demonstrate each and every feature. But let's try like what I can do it in the website that I have created yesterday. So I'll just click edit and open it in the Design Studio. And what we are going to do basically yesterday, if you know, like we have created couple of links and pages. So for example, publish event, that was basically to display the events that we are publishing for the organizer. Speaker proposals, that is basically the speakers can submit their profile or sessions, and the event overview. So these are the basic components of the portals we are using, like basic form and so that you can see like this is a basic form, and this is basically the multi-step form. And events overview, I think it lists down all the events on the portal, so like this. But sometimes what happen is, your client don't like this UI, or they want to actually customize this the look and feel of it. But still your data should be stored in the Dataverse, but you want to customize these options. So how you can do that? So there is no much customization you can do it for the forms, because in the forms you can see like most of the controls, like the text box, the date controls, and the drop downs and everything, they are coming from the Dataverse directly. So of course you can't customize that, but of course you can change the look and feel, how the text box should look like on the portal. These things you can change using the CSS, or if you have the JavaScript, you can also apply that. But sometimes imagine you have data stored in the Dataverse, but you want to display on the portal in a different way instead of showing it in the list format. Okay. So what I want to do it, for example, like in my portal, if I go here, I'll take, I'll also open my portal as well in the parallel so that I can show you like what exactly we are going to do. So you can see like I have created a page called events, and what I want to do, I want to display all the events. Let me show like, let me check where I have created that exactly. Let me refresh it. So basically what we want to do, we want to create a page where we want to display all the events in the card format. Okay, card format means in the form of boxes. So I think it's the upcoming events maybe. Anything. Get code. Okay, so I'm just opening my code in the VS Code Online. If I go to preview, so basically what we want to do, we actually want to list all the events, not on the standard list, what it looks like. We want to show all the events in the form of banner where we will display the images, and we will display the register option along with the timings. so that the user can directly straight away do the registration from the website. Okay, so let's let it be loaded, then we'll see. By the using this example, you can see like I have created a page where I'm displaying all the events. So this is also a list, but I'm actually create I have actually created a custom page. I'm just pulling all the events from the Dataverse. This is the title of the event. This is the timing, and this is the button, and this is the image that I'm storing into the Dataverse, right? So as long as my data is stored in the Dataverse, it's up to me like how I want to show it on the portal. In today's world, if you can see, like there are a lot of community events you see across the world. They have created the Power Pages. They have created their event management website using the Power Pages. So if you can see, like the Scottish Summit, so they have also created using Power Pages. I'm not sure about the Canadian Summit website, but there are many of the community or the user group. They have created the event management website using Power Pages, and you see like by seeing their website, if you see them like it doesn't look like a Power Pages site because they don't use the out of box forms, they don't use the out of box list. They actually created the custom pages, and they already have the data stored in the Power and the Dataverse, and they just pull the information using the APIs and the fetch XML and display whatever way they want. Okay. So we also want to do a quick POC of the same thing. We also want to create a page like this, and we want to display all the events in the form of cards like this. Okay. How you can do that? So we know like we already have a table in the Dataverse that we have created yesterday that is called event table. And in that event table, we already have all the columns and everything. And I have already created some of the sample data here so that I can display on the portal. And how I can display these all the events on the portal. So for example, I have different ways. The first way to retrieve all those events is either using web API, or second option is the Cloudflow, and the third option is the Fetch XML. I think the Fetch XML is the easiest way because you can directly generate it from the advanced find, and as it is you can paste it in the web template and can start using it. Okay, so it's also for the low code developer as well. You don't need to create the queries and everything. We're gonna also look into it the portal web API, and you will also understand like what are the complexities are there in order to set up the portal web API compared to fetch XML in the Cloudflow. But in this example we are going to discuss about the fetch XML. Okay, so first of all, since this is I've already set up on my own website, but just let me show you like how you can do it in your website. So I'm going to ask the Copilot create a page where I want to display the list of technical events in the card form. Also display event banner, timing, and register button to register for event. So you can just type it basically in your own language. So and just hit enter. So let's see whether it create the page based on that. So this is just for expediting your development process. But if you don't want to utilize this Copilot option, then you can also use you can also directly start writing as well. So here you can see it has created the page for me. So either I can keep it or I can delete the page. It has not generated the timings, but it's okay. I can discard it and I can ask again, uh, add a event, create an event page. Show event banner. and below it show event date and register button, something like this. So let's see if it creates. If it doesn't create, then we can directly start creating the page from scratch. So now you can see, okay, perfect. So now you can see it has just created a skeleton or the layout where it's displaying a lot of event in the form of cards and showing the title and the dates and the register option. Okay. So if we go to preview, I think continue review and we can keep that page. And if we hit preview, so right now we have the three events available, but we can also create multiple events as well. So the first thing is that we want to use the same layout, what it is there here, but instead of writing this hard-coded value like event title, the dates, this register option, we want to pull this information from the Dataverse. Okay. And we already have the table in the Dataverse called event. So first of all, I'm going to create a fetch XML for that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just heading over to the Power Pages Management. So click on the apps and the Power Pages Management because that capabilities right now is not there in the Design Studio. So I can directly go to the web template and here you can see I have already created that. So I'm not recreating that. Okay. So if you can see like if I search for fetch XML, I have already created a fetch XML and you can see like I have this fetch XML I have generated from the advanced point. You can also do that the same. And just make sure like you include all the columns that you want to use it on the portal. So for example, I want to use the name. So name is the title where I'm storing the title of the event, start time where I'm storing the date and the time the event starts, and the event banner URL I'm using to store the URL of the images. You can also use the file type of data type, and also you can use the image type of data type and upload your images in the Dataverse. But instead of doing that, I have created a column of URL data type, and I'm just storing some public images of that so that I can directly access them. Okay, public images URL. And I'm just showing only the events whose status is in the published state. So this is the status called published. So I'm retrieving all the events which is in the published state. Now, this is the simple fetch XML that we were using it in many of the coding and the JavaScript and everything. But in order to use it inside the liquid, we have to wrap it within this particular syntax fetch XML my query and then end fetch XML. So this is the way how you can, wrap your fetch XML inside the fetch XML my query tag. Okay, so this is the fetch XML I have created, and I have created this as a separate web template. Okay, and then I have created a new web template. So I'm going to again here and let's open this in the edit code because I'm going to customize this particular page, right? So go here, click on the edit code and see like how the code has written to, display all these events. All right. So you can see like this is the code that is basically written in the background in order to display all these images. And you can see like right now it is showing three events. So for all the three events, it has created the same div, but we don't want to do that because we have to retrieve that dynamically from the Dataverse and we have to loop through it instead of hard coding these values, right? So how you can do that? So I can, first of all, I need to retrieve the events, right? So for that, I have created a web template separately. So I need to include this web template in my code. So in order to do that, how you can do, go back to your Design Studio here, and on top of it, like this, you can see my Design studio is already there. Let me open my code as well so that I can directly copy paste to avoid any syntax issues and everything. So this is the syntax that you can use it to include just a minute. There we go. So this is the syntax that I have to use it to include that fetch XML that I have written it in the web template. So this is the name of my web template. Okay. Now you may have this question like, can't I write that fetch XML I have written in the web template? So this is my web template. I can open it again. So can't I directly write this fetch XML inside this web template where I'm customizing it? Yes, you can of course do it, but there are different ways to writing it actually. Because sometimes what I recommend is when you have to create a custom page, you may have a long line of code in your in the same page where you might need it to add the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a lot of queries and everything. And it's not like you have to retrieve only one table data. If you have to retrieve the data from the other tables, you have to include the other fetch XMLs as well. So just to reduce the complexity of the code and your code can be understandable by the other developers, you can just break it down your code in the different web templates. And this is also one of the way you can write the code. And it's not a thumb rule that you have to always do that. If you have a small code, then you can of course do it in the single page as well. But I'm just in this training, I just wanted to showcase each and every possible ways to use the web templates. Okay. So if I have to make any changes in this fetch XML in the future, I don't need to come into this particular file and change the code. I can directly go to this web template, add and remove the components, add the condition, whatever it is. Okay. So this fetch XML I have included here. This will ensure like uh, before running this code, I will pull or retrieve all the events from the Dataverse. And then once this fetch XML will run, I will store all the result in the my query. Okay. So how I'm doing that. So you can see like in my fetch XML, this is the code I have written. Okay. So I'm just copying it here and simply instead of, so these are the divs which are repeating here, right? So I'm just removing this and instead of writing this, I will paste it here. So this basically ensure like my query, because this is the variable I'm using here to store the result of the fetch XML. And of course, it is the collection of the events, right? So this will store the collection my query.result.entities. So this is basically storing the result of the fetch XML, and it is the collection. So I have to loop through it. So I will store it in the result variable. And then you can see like I have used the single div, and instead of hard coding that value, I'm just passing the attribute value. For example, result.event banner URL, result.event ID, and then somewhere I have written the date as well. Yeah, so this is the name of the event, this is the timing of the event, and this is the banner URL of the event, right? And that's it. You don't need to do anything. So whenever you run this fetch XML, whenever you load this page, this fetch XML will run, retrieve all the events, and this for loop will create the diff for you. Okay, so this is the way how you can do that. So I can show my code so that you can understand it better. Uh, yep. So this is the way how you can write it, include it, and this is the way. All right. So now here, other things as well that you can do it by yourself. For example, like this upcoming events, join for other activities. These values are still hard coded, so you can replace them with the content snippet. I have explained you earlier as well. Okay. So now the portal, if you load this portal, so it will look like this. So I'm just going to load my portal. I'm going to a website. Now the designing, the how to write the CSS and HTML and everything, it's totally up to you. My main objective is to tell you like how to use the fetch XML, how to use the liquid code in order to display that. It's not the page. Seconds. Just wanted to check in the Teams meeting whether I am clearly audible and you can see my screen. Can someone please confirm? They don't have any issue. Perfect. Okay. All right. So by doing that and by writing that kind of code, you can see like you can simply fetch the data like this, and it's up to you like how you want to show it. If you want to, for example, if I put the mouse over or the cursor on the image, you want to do some kind of animations or you want to display some other information in the pop-up, you can still do that because that is not something which is the portal thing. That is something that is the jQuery, CSS, and other things. So you can get the code from the Chat GPT or the Copilot, and you can apply it over here as well. All right. Now, what the second thing that I'm going to show you, let me go back to the integrate Power Pages now. So now the first thing that I've shown you, like how you can create the custom pages and how you can create the liquid code and change the look and feel of the portal using that. Now let's understand like what are the different ways to integrate the Power Pages. Okay, because this is also one of the most common requirement that how you can integrate the Power Pages with various other applications. So basically, there are two ways to integrate the Power Pages. The first is the data integration, and the second is the app integration. Okay. Data integration means, if you are integrating your data, focuses on managing and interacting with data stored in various external data sources other than the Dataverse. Okay, because you already know the Dataverse data is automatically coming on the portal. You don't need to do anything. But if your data is stored in some other database, then you might need to pull that data or you have to push that data. So these kind of interaction of data require data integration. Sometimes you have to integrate the apps. So integrating the apps means is basically focuses on enhancing the site functionality by either embedding the other Power Platform components or integrating with external apps. Okay. As you know, like Power Pages is one of the component of Power Platform, and the rest of the components are Canvas app, Power BI, Power Automates, and other components, the Copilot and everything, right? So you might have this question like, can I embed the Canvas app in the portals? Yes, of course, you can do that. And sometimes if you have to display any complex reportings, dashboard on the analytics, that is not supported on the model driven app or in the Dataverse, then of course you can create your report in the Power BI and you can directly embed that in the portal. So you can imagine like how uh, what is the advantage of using Power Pages, because it allows you to directly embed the external application within your portal, especially the Power Platform components. Okay, so these are the types of integrations that we have. Now, if you have to do the data integrations, what are the different ways to do that? Okay. So the first way to do the integration is the cloud flow. Okay. The second way is the virtual table. Cloudflow, as you know, like I don't need to explain it. You can use 1000 plus connectors and you can call HTTP request APIs as well. You can call any external APIs. You can call any of the 1000 plus connectors. You can create your own custom connector if any of the out of box connector doesn't fit your need. So Cloudflow is basically for that. So this is one of the best way how you can call your APIs. Okay. The second way of doing it is virtual table. Virtual table is also one of the way to display the external application data in the Dataverse. Currently, only limited data sources are available that supports the virtual table. I think one is the SharePoint, second is the SQL Server, and the third is Azure SQL. It might be possible that Microsoft has introduced some new data sources, but as per my knowledge right now, the three data sources are supported for virtual table, and that actually allows you to perform the CRUD operation on the external data sources without physically storing the data in the Dataverse. Okay, imagine you want to display some documents stored in the SharePoint, and you want to display it on the portal. So you can simply use the the virtual table, and you can just sorry, you can directly connect with the SharePoint library and directly display those documents or whatever data you have in the SharePoint directly using Fetch virtual table. Okay. And virtual table also allows you to perform the CRUD operation as well, but without storing it in the Dataverse. You can directly interact or you can communicate with the data sources, and you can perform the CRUD operation as well. So this is the second way of doing it. Unfortunately, I cannot demonstrate each and everything, but being a developer, you should know it, all the capabilities of the portal. I will show you the capabilities of Cloudflow and the APIs capabilities. The third one is the API directly call from the portal. I have seen on a lot of questions on the community like what are the secure ways to call the external API directly from the Power Pages? Okay, so there are a couple of ways to do that. In the earlier version of the portal, we had very limited capabilities. So we had to directly call those APIs on the portals using some API keys and everything security in place. But right now we have a lot of ways to do that. You can use the cloud flows to directly call those APIs. You can use the Power Automate HTTP trigger endpoint, where Microsoft had introduced the additional layer of security. I'm going to demonstrate that. And I've discussed about the APIM as well. So you can secure your API using APIM. And the Microsoft also provided a way called OAuth 2.0 implicit grant flow. Okay. Now, what exactly it is, I'm going to demonstrate that in the architecture diagram, like how this OAuth 2.0 implicit grant flow work if you have to directly call any external API using JavaScript. Okay. So these are the various options that you have to integrate your data. Sometimes you have to do some non-real-time integration where you don't really need that data on the portal on the real time, but instead of that, you need that data in the backend in the Dataverse. So in that case, there are some of the components of Azure and the Dataverse called Azure Synapse Links for Dataverse, Schedule Power Automate Flows, Logic App, SSIS, custom APIs, export to Excel, data flow. So these are the basically options that works in the back end of the server side. Okay, it nothing to do with the portal. So sometimes what happen is, the data will get synced in the background and you can keep on displaying on the portal, something like that. You don't need to directly interact with the portal. So in that case, if you have to do the non-real-time integration, then you have these components available. For app integrations, you can use these kind of apps to integrate with Power Pages. The first one is Embed Canvas app. So if you can go to my YouTube channel and see the Power Pages 30 days learning challenge, I have demonstrated each and every feature. I have shown there like how you can embed the Canvas app step by step, how you can embed the Power BI reports and the dashboards, how you can enable the co-pilots and everything. So I'm not demonstrating because we have the 3 hours training. So few of the components I will demonstrate for sure. Like Copilot, I will demonstrate. But these are all the apps like Canvas app, Power BI, Copilot, SharePoint. You can also use it for document management purpose. So you just need to do some additional configuration, and then you can directly start using the document management capabilities, whatever you are using in the model driven app. Okay. You have got the DocuSign, payment gateway, CDN, WAF we have discussed. Omni-channel for dynamic 365 customer service for live chat agent. So I'm going to discuss about the Copilot in a while. So in that, I'm going to discuss about the omni-channel as well. So just an overview, like if you want to provide uh, the virtual chat capability, then you can embed the Copilot. Or if you want to allow the human chat, like live chat with the human agents capability, then you can use the omni channel. Nowadays we call it as a contact center, so that we can also use it. And sometimes we have to embed our own Power Pages site into the external websites as well. So that capability is also there. You just need to enable some cost settings and everything. So you will get the step-by-step instructions on the MS documentation. So I'm not going to demonstrate that, but if you have to embed the Power Pages site, that is also possible to the another site. Okay. Now I was talking about a feature called, how you can call the external API in the secured manner using OAuth 2.0 implicit grant flow that is provided by the Microsoft. And I know like there are a lot of developers who are not aware about that feature, which is provided by Microsoft. So this is not only one feature. You can, as I said, like you can use the Cloudflow, Power Automate, APIM, Azure functions to securely call the API. But if you have to directly call that API from the JavaScript without exposing your parameters and other stuff or other content in the browser, then this is the way. So how the architecture works of OAuth 2.0 grant flow. So whenever you as a user hit the portal URL in the browser, so this is the step number one. Whenever you hit the portal URL on the website, you need to enter your username and the password. So you logged in as a developer or you logged in as a customer on the portal using your credentials. So you are authenticated user. Okay. Now your user, whenever you log in into the portal, in your JavaScript code, there is a way how you can request for the token. So portal URL slash underscore services slash auth slash token. So this is the way how you can generate the token. Okay. And this is the first step where you actually getting or requesting for the token from the Power Pages as soon as you log into your website. And once you do that, you get the token from the portal. Okay. And now using that token, you call that external API. And that token is nothing, it's just a collection of your logged in user information. Okay. That actually ensure like this token has the authorized information. I mean, the portal user is authorized one. So using that token, you call that external API, whatever it is. Now in the external API side, you need to validate that token as well. So how you can do that? So there is a URL called portal URL slash services slash auth public key. So basically, whenever you create any website in your Power Platform environment, there is a unique key associated with that for each portal. Okay. And that actually identify like this portal is secure and this is basically the certificate key that Microsoft generate for you. So external API can directly validate your token using that public key. And once it is verified, you will get the acknowledgement, you will get the response from the Power Pages. Yes, this token is correct and it has been generated by the authorized user. Then that external API can return the secure data to your portal. Okay. So this is the architecture, but the step-by-step process of writing the code, Microsoft has already provided in the MS documentation. So if you are willing to learn more, you can just go to the Microsoft site and you just type it OAuth 2.0 implicit grant flow in the Power Pages. Okay. So there you will get the step-by-step instruction. You will also get the link of GitHub where they have provided the sample code as well, that how you can validate the token and how you can request for the token, right? So this token basically you request a request from the portal and then pass it into the header, the way you call any external API, right? So this is the way how you can securely call your APIs. Now, before going to the troubleshoot part, let me show you the capabilities of the Power Pages. Okay, the Cloudflow integration. So let me go to the Power Pages site again. And we have seen like the different integration option. But first of all, let's discuss about how you can integrate the Cloudflow. Okay. So if you have to integrate the Cloudflow, you can see like in the setup section in the Design Studio, there is an option called Cloudflow. Okay. And you can create the cloud flow if you already have any existing cloud flow, that you can also add it here. So there are an option called add existing flow, or you can create the new flow as well. Okay. I would recommend to create a new flow because it might be possible that the existing cloud flow doesn't have the Power Pages connectors. Okay, so you can see like I've already created the Cloudflow called Power Guide Event Registration. So why I want to create a Power Automate for that? So what I want, whenever I click on the Register Now button, it actually create a record in the event registration table, and will fill the details about the logged in user who has registered for the event, and the information about the event for which they have registered. Okay. So these all the information I want to capture on the click of register now. So before the Cloudflow, when the Cloudflow was not there, you had to use the Portal API for this purpose. You did not had any other option to do that. But now, instead of using Portal Web API, I want to show it using Cloudflow. Okay. So let me go to the Design Studio. So this flow I have already created. It's a very simple flow. I'll click on Edit. Sorry, Flow Details. And if I go to Edit, the first thing that I want to do it, as soon as I click on register now button, I want to pass some of the parameters or information from portal, right? That then only the Cloudflow will be able to insert that data into the Dataverse, right? So what information I have to send from portal to the Cloudflow, you can see it here. I have used the connector Power Pages, and you can find it as well in your connector list. And this will take the input called event. So here I will pass the GUID of the event for which the participant is registering right now, the name of the participant, first name, the last name, email address, and the contact. Okay. So contact is what? Contact is basically, as I said, like whoever registered on the portal, their information gets stored in the contact table. Okay. So the contact here, I will provide the GUID of the logged in user. All right. So these all the information I will provide from the portal. Once I'll get the event details, contact details, first name, last name, email. The first thing I want to do, I want to retrieve that contact because I have the GUID. I don't have the contact details, right? So I will perform the get contact, get row by ID connector, Dataverse connector. I will get the contact ID. I will get the event details. Now, once I get the contact and the event, I will simply create an event registration here. Okay. And this is the table I am storing the data, event registration. And in the participant name column, I am just putting first name and last name and just concatenating it with the space. And then in the event, I'm just passing the copy set name of the table and then passing the event reference. And in the contact, I'm passing the copy set name. Always make sure like this name, how you can get this name in order to, because events and the contacts both are lookup table. Okay. So how you can set the value in the lookup table. So for example, for events, I'll go to the Design Studio. Maybe go to the, because I need to go to the solution here. And in the solution, I'll head over to the events table. So this is the event table I have. And from here, just go to the tools and select the copy set name, because for Power, in order to set the value in the lookup field, you always need the copy set name. You always need the set name of any Dataverse table. So once you copy that, go back to your Power Automate and paste it here. And in the bracket, you need to pass the GUID that you are getting it. Okay. Same go with the contact. And then here I'm passing the registration date called UTC now. That's it. All right. So once this event gets, your registration gets created, what I'm doing additional thing is I have already created a column. So this is the table called event registration. And here I have created a column that is auto number column called registration number. So here I have created a column called registration number, and I have used that out of box feature called auto numbering. And it's up to you like what kind of format you want to keep it for this. So here you can see it's a auto number data type, and I'm just using the format like this. So whenever a new record gets inserted in the event registration table, it automatically create a registration number. Okay. So if I go back to my Power Automate, once this step will be performed, it will generate an event registration number, and that I will return it to the Power Pages back. All right. Now this is a simple Power Automate I have written, and in order to call that Power Automate in my code, because I need to call this Power Automate on click of this register now button. Okay, so how can I do that? So you can see like this is the code that I had written already. Let me go back again. Yeah, this is the code I have already written. So like I have the register now button, right? So this is the button, and this is the register now button. And here I am just using the event called on click. And on click of that event, I'm just passing the ID of that particular event. And in order to store that ID, I'm just using the ID attribute in my button element and storing the event ID, the event unique ID. Okay. And every time when I'm calling that button or pressing that button, I need to pass the event ID on which that register now button has been pressed. Okay. And this is the function that I have written. You will also get the syntax of calling the cloud flow from the MS Docs as well. And here you need to pass the endpoint URL, the Cloudflow URL. How you can get that? So if I again go back to my design studio, I'll simply go back to edit my site. And if I go to the setup Cloudflow, so once your Cloudflow gets saved, it will appear here. Okay. And if you click here and click on edit, you can see like this is the URL. This is the endpoint URL you are going to use. Same like you call any external APIs to call that Cloudflow. And here the security part comes into the picture. You can associate the roles here as well. That means who can call that Cloudflow, because you may not want to trigger that Cloudflow for anonymous user. You want like user should be registered first. So right now, you can do this by adding the role. If you want, like only organizer can register for an event, or any specific person who have this web role associated can only register, that you can also do that. The one limitation that right now we have in the security, that I have already provided my feedback to Microsoft, and they are still working on it. So right now, if you associate this with authenticated user, that means all the authenticated user can call this Cloudflow. For event registration, it is fine, but sometimes you have the business logic that you may not want to uh, trigger it for all the authenticated user, right? You want to trigger it for only specific authenticated user. So that kind of capabilities it doesn't have right now. Okay. So if you select the authenticated user, then all the signed user, all the signed up user can trigger that. So yeah, Microsoft told me that they are working on this particular feature, but they have not decided yet that when they are going to release it. But yeah, in the future we can expect that feature will be added soon. Right, so this is how the Cloudflow URL you will get it. And again, if I go back to my code, you need to provide this URL here. And then, of course, you need to pass some parameters that we are expecting in the Cloudflow. So make sure like you are providing this array data, and then you need to use the same name, whatever you have used in the Cloudflow. So use the same name, order can be changed, but the name should be same. So if I have used this capital N here as well, then you have to use the same capital N here as well. Okay, so first name, how you can pass the first name from the portal. This is the liquid template syntax. You don't need to query to the Dataverse that who is the logged in user first name. Okay, you can simply use this user keyword, which actually hold the information about the logged in user. And you can pull any of the information from the contact table of the logged in user. regardless of it's a custom attribute or the out-of-box attribute. So you can directly get this from the liquid user first name, user last name, user email address, and this contact also you can get it from contact ID. It's a lookup field. And event ID, you can directly get it from this because I'm storing the ID of event in the ID attribute. So I will get to know like which register, because register now is same button on all the events. So how I will get to know like which register now button got clicked from the user side. So that's why I'm providing the unique ID. If you can do the inspect, you can see the unique ID has get associated the event ID. Okay. So yeah, and this is the code that you use it to call an API. And this is the same like you call any external API using Ajax. And here, once the request is done, you can see like I am getting the response. This is the output parameter registration. So make sure like you are using the same parameter that you are passing from here. You can see registration number. If you go here, I'm using the registration number and I'm just alerting it. And if it is failed, then I'm just throwing the error message. Now let's see like how does it work. So if I let's say register for Microsoft AI tool. So once I hit register, of course, the user experience is not that good. You can place the processing message, you can place the dialog box, you can show the loading message, and you can hang the screen by showing the message, please wait while we are doing the registration. This all the things you can do it using CSS and HTML. But the main thing here is registration is successful. Your event registration ID is this. Okay. And if I go back to my design studio and go to the data, and if I see the event registration table, I expect a new entry got added. So this is the event registration table. And you see like this is the registration I have just done, 1039. If I go and click on edit row, you can see all the data has been mapped successfully. You can see participant name, owner, registration date, event, and the participant name. Okay. So this is the way how you can directly call the Power Automate. I have plenty of examples that I have used in the live project. And this is one of the example you can also use it. Imagine if you are using the portal web API for that purpose, you may have to write a lot of code, JavaScript code for that. Of course, you have to write the code for calling the Cloudflow as well. Yeah, you have to write the code for Cloudflow as well. But in case of portal web API, you have to do some site settings, some additional table permission and everything you have to do. Okay. So we will check the example of portal web API as well, but this is how you can call the Cloudflow directly from the portal. Okay. And there could be multiple business scenario where you can use it. Right now I am using only Dataverse connector, but as you can see, like if I click on plus icon, add an action, you can see like thousands of connectors are there. I have seen many people are uploading the document to the specific SharePoint folders. I have seen people are showing the weather report on the portals by calling external APIs. I have seen people uploading the Excel file directly to the OneDrive. There are many examples are there. Okay. And here you can use it that, and you can also call the external APIs also by using the HTTP request. I think HTTP trigger, I guess. HTTP request. So this is another example where you can call the HTTP request, sorry, action. And here you can see like you can provide the external API URL, use the method, pass the header informations, and there are different authentication options available like client certificate, basic, and everything. So this is the way how you can call an external API as well securely. Okay. Now next topic is integration of the Power Pages. So let me check like what else I can show it in the agenda. So building custom page is done. Integration is also done. Now working with the portal web API. Okay, so let's take an example of the portal web API as well, so that you know what are the business scenario where you need to use the portal web API. Now, as I said, like portal web API is also one of the way to perform the CRUD operations, but there are some steps involved before start using that portal web API. Okay, so to demonstrate the portal web API capabilities, I want to create an editable subgrid on the portal, and I want like user can directly change or edit their information from the subgrid itself. Okay, so you can see like if I go here and design studio pages, and if I go to the manage contacts review, so here you can see like I have created this grid, and here you can see like I can directly edit my name, first name, last name, email address, phone number. I can create a new record as well, some add some sample record like this, and it is directly storing it in the Dataverse. Okay, I can directly delete it as well. So this will directly delete that data from the Dataverse. You can see, and one thing that you can realize between the portal web API and the Cloudflow. Portal web API is a real-time operation. So whenever I hit the delete, it will immediately delete that data from the Dataverse without waiting or without taking any time. But the same thing, if you do it in the Cloudflow, then you might need to wait for a few seconds because it's a Cloudflow, it's a asynchronous thing. So you have to carefully decide like for which particular business operation you have to use the portal web API, or which operation you have to use the Cloudflow. Okay, so this is also one of the major difference between them. Sometimes portal web API comes with some limitations, like not all the operations it supports, as I said earlier. And sometimes you have to use some complex queries. You have to retrieve the data from the some related table. You have to do a lot of joins. So these kind of complex operations or queries not possible in the portal web API. So in that case, I think it's up to you whether you can use the Cloudflow, another way of integrating or interacting with the Dataverse data. Okay. Now, in order to design this kind of editable subgrid where you can directly perform the CRUD operation. So this is basically I have taken the example of contact table where I'm displaying all the table or all the contacts stored in my Dataverse. So if I go to my portal management tab and go to the contacts, if I go and create a new contact here, I can create. Okay, then job title, something like this. Okay, so I have created a data in the Dataverse. If I go back to my portal, refresh the page, you can see I can immediately get that response on the page without hitting the sync option because it is directly retrieving the data from the Dataverse. Okay. So this is the example of retrieve, and this is the example of create, and this is the example of delete, and this is the example of updating the data. So if I can simply go and change my name to this, click on OK, you can see like it will immediately update my last name. Yeah. So how can I do that basically if you have to use the portal web API? So first thing, the step number one, you first need to go to the site settings. And I think I would recommend if you can follow the instructions given on the MS Docs, because I also follow the same, because you cannot remember each and everything. And you can't be more overconfident by setting everything by your own. Otherwise, you put a lot of efforts in investigating and troubleshooting the things which you should not usually do it, right? So always I recommend just follow the instructions given by the Microsoft in their articles. Okay. So first of all, you need to create the site settings. Site settings basically needed. Uh, you need to create the site setting for the table on which you want to perform the CRUD operation. Okay. And you need to create a site setting for the columns so that you can decide like which column you are allowed to interact with from the data to the dataverse. Okay. So for example, like if I search with Web API, yeah, so you can see I have created three site setting. I'm going to interact with the contact table. So I need this site setting, Web API slash contact. So this should be the logical name of your database table slash enabled. And then you need to set this value to true. Okay. What fields you want to interact with, either deleting, creating, updating, or retrieving. So whatever field you will put it here in the comma separated form, you can only interact with that. So for example, you can see like I have not included the job title. But if I try to retrieve the job title using Web API, you will get an permission error. Okay, or you will get an error like job title is not included in the list. So this is the way how you can limit the number of columns that you want to retrieve it. If you ever worked in the .NET or the C# code of CRM application, there also there is a property called column set. So whenever you retrieve the data like service dot retrieve or service dot retrieve multiple, you have to specify the column set. If you set it to true, that means you can retrieve all the columns of that particular table. So if you set it to true, you can retrieve all the data, sorry, all the columns data. So from the security point of view, you should not put that value to true. And it also takes a lot of time if the data will be pulled from the multiple columns. So always limit the columns and always use the column that you actually need it for your business requirement. And this is for the error. If any internal error gets generated, then it will display the meaningful message to you. So you need to set this true as well. So this is the step number one. If you have to use the portal web API, you need to set it. Imagine if you have to enable it for the account table as well. So you need to do the same thing for account table, account enable true, account fields, and then name of the account table columns. And you don't need to recreate this particular site setting. It is common for all. But these two you have to recreate for each table. And always make sure this is a logical name, not the schema name. Okay, because sometimes you just copy the schema name and you end up facing a lot of issues and you are not able to troubleshoot as well. So always remember this is a logical name. Now, once you do it, then you need to enable the table permission. So for example, if I want to retrieve the data from contact or you want to perform the data on the contact, then I need to have the table permission enabled on the contact table. So if I go to the Design Studio security section and go to the table permission, I have already created a permission for contact, and here I have provided the global access, read, delete, update, and all, and associated with authenticated user. This will ensure like your portal web API will not work for anonymous user. Okay. So for example, like if I go back to my portal and if I hit signing out, I'll not be able to see any data because I have enabled it only. You don't have permission to read the contact table. Okay. So you need to ensure like you have enabled the appropriate permission on that specific table so that only authorized user can access the data. So I have enabled it for authenticated user. Sometimes you want to expose it for anonymous user, then in that case, you can select this option as well and hit save. Now, once you do this two settings. The first is the permissions, and the second is your site setting. There is third setting that you can also do it. It's a column permission. Okay. So here you can also add the column permission, and you can see like if I select the table called contact, here it is, and the website is this. I want to enable the permission for the email address. Okay. I want to actually restrict like whether you can delete the email address field or you can only read it. So that you can also do it. For example, like on the email address. So for example, I'll just select all for now, just save it. And here you can select the column permission. So here you can select the column called email like this. And here you can select the permission, like what kind of permission you want to enable for an individual column. So if we want to enable only read permission and save and close, that means I need to update this as well to read. Okay, so by doing that, you have enabled the email address to write the query in the portal web API, but you have enabled only read permission, and you just need to associate the web role as well. And then here is a authenticated web role like this. Okay. So this is kind of column permission you can also enable, because sometimes let's say you have some confidential columns in your Dataverse, like a debit card or maybe some SSN number like that. And you don't want to allow you, and you don't want like user can delete that or update that information, but they can still read that data. So that kind of permission you can also apply. But just remember, if you want to apply that column permission, that column should also be listed in the site setting as well. Okay. If the column is not listed in the site setting, it doesn't make sense to apply that column permission. And another thing is this column permission is not applicable for other kind of permissions. It is only and only for the web API. Okay. So don't think like it is a kind of column level security in the Dataverse you have. So it's not like that. It is only for the web API. If you are retrieving the data or deleting the data, that is only for that purpose, not for the security type. All right, so once you do these three settings, the first is site setting, the second is table permission, the third is column permission. Then the last option is writing the code to call that to perform the CRUD operation. Okay. So if I go to my design studio and go to that page where I have, so this is the managed contact page where I'm calling that portal API. If I hit the edit code, so here you can see like in the edit code, you can just ignore the CSS part because the styling is something that you can do your own. So I've just provided this simple styling as well. Now, in this whole code, this is the JavaScript code. You don't need to worry about it because you can get this code from Google as well. So if I can quickly show you like how you can check that the web API. So just wanted to demonstrate the capabilities of it, and the rest of the things you can also do it. One, yes. Yeah, so you can take the example from this document, like for example, like if you have to, if I can do, if you have to do the update, how you can do that. If you have to retrieve that, how you can do that. Association and deassociation, you can do that. So all the possible operations are there. And this is the wrapper Ajax function. And this will remain same. Okay. So for example, like if you want to, perform the create operation, sorry. Yeah, so if you want to perform the create operation, first of all, you need to paste this code. Either you can keep it somewhere in the web template or you can keep it in your same page. And then this is the code to create the data. Okay. Slash APIs and accounts. If you want to perform the data in the contact, then you can use this logical name. And the same way, the way we are calling the Cloudflow endpoints, we have to call the same way. And here you can pass the data. Okay. So in order to create the data, you need to pass some information and then here you can generate the output. Similar way, you have to perform the update. In case of update, you need to provide the unique identifier in order to know the database, like which data you want to update. And then you can simply pass the data. You want to update the name. And this is for the delete and this is for associate and other thing. So this is basically an example like how you can do that. And the same thing, I have also used it in my portal with little bit of, some HTML and little bit of styling. That's it. The main thing here is how you can embed that function like delete record, update record, and how you can add the sample record. Okay. So I don't want to explain that HTML part and the logic behind it, but this is the main thing that you have to do it in the portal side is the site setting, table permission, column permission, and the syntax and everything. You can directly get it from the MS Docs and you can change that as per your business need. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next topic, implementing Copilot agents in the Power Pages. Okay. Now, what is Copilot agent? Uh, if you have not heard about it, Microsoft is speaking about Copilot from last couple of months a lot. As we know, like earlier we had a product called Power Virtual Agents that was basically used to create the chatbots for the digital assistant. But nowadays, as you know, like Microsoft has introduced the Copilot, so they have introduced a lot of generative AI capabilities in that Power Virtual Agent, and they have rebranded that uh, to the Copilot agents. Okay, initially they have rebranded as a Copilot Studio, and now they are calling it as a Copilot agents. I mean, we call it as a Copilot agents because you can create that. As an agent that help you perform some activities for you. Okay, so from the portal perspective, the Copilot capabilities is, you want to embed the digital assistant capabilities. So in order to enable the Copilot on the portal, in order to enable the chatbot capabilities on the portal, along with some generative AI capabilities, you just need to go to the setup section. And just remember, you don't need to write any sort of code for that. It's just a simple uh, toggling feature to enable it. Or you, if you want to, if your customer don't want to add it, you can simply turn off as well. So here is an option called Add Copilot, and this is something different from whatever we are using it since yesterday. All the Copilot features. Okay, so this is something different. This is a chatbot capabilities and from yesterday, whatever we have been using, all the Copilot capabilities for creating website pages or the forms and everything, and that Copilot is something different. Okay. Now, in order to enable the Copilot, you just need to first enable this toggle, turn on this toggle, and this will basically create a Copilot in the Copilot Studio. Okay, I will show you that how it looks like. And then you can enable, if you want to publish that Copilot on the Power Pages side, you can turn on this option. Okay. So once you turn on this both the option, even if you go back to the portal, and then you will see this uh, Copilot icon here. Okay. So it's a chatbot capabilities comes default with the Power Pages. And you can see like, hi Arpitri, I'm Power Guide Event Hub Board. How can I help you today? Now, the major question here is the customization or the way it is asking me the questions, what answer is going to be respond. So for example, like I want to make this chatbot specific to my event website. So how can I do that? How can I make it contextual? Okay, so there are a lot of ways to do that. It's a big topic actually, and I have given a lot of sessions in the past. But in this training, I just wanted to give you the very fundamental knowledge about it, like how you can do that, and you can set up your own trial and you can play around with it. Okay, so the first thing is that how you can customize that. So if you can just go to the solution. So this is my solution. And in the solution, if you can see, like as soon as I created a new, or as soon as I added a chatbot capabilities, it added agents here. And you can see like it created an agent with the same name as my website, Power Agent Event Hub board. Okay. And if I click on this board, it will take me to the Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is basically a tool where you can customize, you can design, you can add the knowledge base, and all the kind of configuration you can do it for the chatbot. And this is not something new. It was there since a long time back, but Microsoft has added a lot of new feature, especially related to the artificial intelligence, and especially after the introduction of the Copilot. Okay, and you can see like this is the same chatbot. You can see in the right panel I'm using on the portal. Okay. Now, whatever questions it asks, it depends on the topics it configured. So you can see like topics are nothing. Basically, it is how your conversation is going to be. Okay. I'm not the expert in the Copilot Studio, to be honest. I'm still learning. But from the Copilot, from the Power Pages perspective, I have learned a lot thing because I have integrated with the Omni channel as well, but not all the features right now I'm aware of, because Microsoft is introducing a lot of things in the Copilot area, but I'm not really aware about all the new features, so that you can learn it from the MS Docs. But I can give you the basic knowledge about it, like the Copilot has topics that actually basically decide like what kind of conversation you can have with the chatbots. Okay, so for example, if you say goodbye, then what kind of the process will, what kind of conversation it will be. Okay, so if you type the goodbye, then would you like to end our conversation? So this kind of question the chatbot will ask to you. If you answer this, then it will answer that. So these kind of conditional things you can configure in the topics. If you want, you can create your own topic as well based on your customer need. So basically, and if you say, if customer says thank you, then what the Copilot will return or respond to that. So these all the kind of things you can configure in the topic section. Some of the customs topics are there, some of the inbuilt system topics are there. But if you don't like it, if you want to create your own, you can create your own topic. Okay, as I said, like you want to create your own topic specific or contextually related to the event management side, you can also do that. You have got the knowledge option. So this knowledge option is quite important. Here you can provide, the reference of the public websites. So if you want, like customer is asking something which you want to search it directly on the public website, then you can provide the references. So for example, like if I click public website, you can provide the link here. So this is a kind of generative AI capabilities that Copilot provides, where you can directly search on the external website, collect the response, and then present it to the customer. Okay. So as you can see, like I have added two knowledge source here. One is the Power Community event website, and one is the Microsoft event website. Okay. So for example, if someone asks anything about like what are the upcoming events of Microsoft, or what are the upcoming events that Power Community is planning, then you will get the answer directly in the chatbot. Okay. And not only the public website, if you want, you can sometimes your you have your company documents, you are building a portal for your employees, and employees wants to, get the information, some HR related queries, some salary related information, leave related information. So you can have your document stored in the SharePoint, and you can directly, get the data from the SharePoint files. Or Dataverse is also a way. Here you can configure like the tables of the Copilot for the event for the agent to respond. And for example, like we are using events table and the event registration table. So these tables we can select it like this. Select next. You can also select the columns as well, selected tables and everything next. And so this is basically in preview right now. But if you want, you can add the Dataverse tables as well so that it can collect the answer from that table and can present it to you. Okay. And the fourth option, you can drag and drop the file up to 512 MB from your browser. And as suggest, like file should with a sensitivity level of confidential or highly confidential, or containing the password will not be usable. Okay. So these kind of things you can do it so that Copilot can directly search the data on this website, SharePoint, and present the data to you. There's an option called action. Sometimes you want like whenever any row gets created, or you know sorry, for example, if anything happens on the Copilot, you want to directly perform an action. For example, you want to delete a row in the Excel, you want to get the row from the Excel, or if you want to create your own action, then you can also do it from here. So action is like the way you are using in the Power Automate. Whenever any trigger happen, you want to perform an action. In the similar way, you can perform the action here as well. Okay. Activities, and here you can track all the activities that is being happening for this agent. Analytics, and the channel where you want to publish this particular board. Okay, there are a lot of things are there that you can learn it. But from the portal perspective, this is all the settings we have done. I have done only for the knowledge, so that you can directly search it from the website. Okay, so these kind of things you can done, and then once you make the changes, you can directly test your board here, and you can publish it. Don't forget to publish it once you make the changes related to your bot. Okay, once you publish, the latest board will be published to your website, and you need to sync the changes. And then if you go back to the portal, for example, like this, and if you ask it like, uh, what are all upcoming events, like this. So this is basically searching on all the public websites I have created in the knowledge source, and it will provide me the list. For example, you can see, and this is not only searching on the public website, it is also searching on the Dataverse as well. So you can see like these all the events are stored in the Dataverse, and it's providing me the link where all these events are listed. And these are the events listed on the, you know, some of the events are listed on the Power Community Event Hub that is on my website. Some of the events are listed on the Power Community website. So if I click here, it will directly take me to the my page where all the events are listed. So you can see these all the events are there. And if I click this, it will take me to the directly event Power Community website where I can find all these events. Okay, so this is the way how you can embed the additional sources, external knowledge in your chatbot, and you can enhance it. Okay, now there is one more capabilities here. If you go to the Design Studio, if you go to the Design Studio again, setup, add Copilot. And there is one more feature that Microsoft has provided, refine your data. So this basically allows like Copilot can directly query the data, whatever table or columns you are configuring, and can present the data to you. For example, you can hit the make changes, and here you can select the tables of the Dataverse table that you are using in your solution. So for example, I have selected the event table here. You can search other tables as well, and then hit next. And here you can select the columns or the page. So sometimes you have FAQ pages on the portal where you have displayed a lot of information. But being a customer, I don't have time to scroll through all the FAQs, questions, and the links that you have provided. So I can directly go to the chatbot, ask specific questions like what all the Power Pages training you are going to provide in next 1 month, something like this. So from this particular page, it will collect all that information and present it to you. Right now, only multi-line text column is supported. So if the information is stored in the multi-line text field or any of the column that supports the that is the multi-line text type, it basically pulls the information from that or takes the decision based on that. You can't use other fields as of now. So that is the current limitation. Go to next, and then you can save it. So by doing that, it can directly retrieve the data from the event table as well. So these are the basic things that you can do it. One last thing that I want to show it here. For example, sometimes your client wants, like, I want to change the appearance of this, icon or the layout of this, the pop-up window. So how can I change that? Okay, because every client wants to change this particular pop-up window icon to match the website branding. Okay, so there is a way that Microsoft has provided. So you can see like you can refer this article, and in this article you have an option called customize your Copilot. Okay, and in this customize your Copilot option, they have provided how you can add your own CSS images and everything to customize that. So you can see like customize the Copilot appearance. So there is a step-by-step process. You need to go to the header HTML. How you can find that? You can go here, go to your website like this. So this is my website, and in the website you can see there is a header web template. So if you don't want to go it from there, you can directly go to the web template and find the header template. And in the header template, either you can add it directly here or you can open in the Visual Studio Code, and then you can start following this article. So they have clearly given like how you can change the Copilot widget, you can write the CSS, you can change the icon, the background color, everything like this. So these are all the areas that you can customize. So if you want to check like what are the all areas you can customize, so they have written like header, height and width, Copilot window, bubbles from the Copilot, bubble from the user, reference links, privacy message, and others. So these information you can customize it right now. All right. Perfect. So this is all about the Copilot capabilities. Now let's understand the calling external API for extended functionality. So this I've already discussed with you, like what are the different options you have. I don't have any external API as such, but I can probably check, like I've already demonstrated this to you for now. Okay. The one thing I just wanted to show you quickly how you can so one thing is, Cloudflow, so that we already discussed how you can directly call the API using Cloudflow. OAuth 2.0, I can also show it to you here. OAuth implicit flow. This one. So here they have Microsoft has given. So this should be your priority number one. I mean the preference number one. If you are trying to call any external API using JavaScript, and here they have given step-by-step instruction. So in order to use that, you need to have the custom certificate in your website. And where you can do that. So in order to use the custom certificate is nothing. It's just an SSL certificate where you can change the domain of the portal. So where you can do that. So if you go to the site details, I will talk that about later because I'm going to discuss about some admin feature as well. But let me show you that SSL certificate for now. So if you go to the admin center, here you can do all the kind of admin related activities related to the portal. And if you go to the environments, and this is my dev environment, and if I scroll down, go to the Power Pages side, and I have currently two sites. Open this. So this is basically the screen where you can do all the kind of admin related activities. I will discuss that about later. But here you can see custom certificate and manage SSL certificate. So this is something that you need to get it from your client. The SSL certificate, the PFX file, you need to get it from your client, and then you can also see it, upload up to 2 custom certificate to handle implicit grant flow. So that is the prerequisite to use this. And then there are a couple of site settings also you need to create it. So basically it's a step-by-step process you need to do. Sample code they have provided in the GitHub as well, so that you can also check it. All right, so this is the first way of integrating any external API. Second way I have already demonstrated, you can use the Cloudflow. The third way of doing it is, if I go to the solution, I can show it quickly. If you can create a new Power Automate, and that should be HTTP request. Let's see that. I'll just check it here. For request. So this is basically a trigger point when an HTTP request is received. So this is also a way how you can call any external API. So if you don't want to use the Cloudflare integration, I don't see any reason why you don't want to use the Cloudflow, but still you have couple of options that you can choose from. So when you select this trigger point when an HTTP request is received, you have an option called any user in my tenant can call this, any specific user can call this, or anyone can call this. Earlier version, we only had this option called anyone, so that anyone could call this, even the Power Platform user or the external user. But nowadays you have the security in place so that you can restrict like only specific user can call this Power Automate. If you provide a specific user, you need to allow the list of the object user ID here from the Azure Active Directory. And if you want to use any user, then you need to, there is a step-by-step article. Microsoft has also given that how you need to get the token of the user in order to call that HTTP request. Okay. So do that, and then you need to do whatever actions you want to perform. For example, call the APIs and everything. Let's save it so that you will know like it generates an endpoint URL that you can call it from the Power Automate. Okay, so you can see like it has generated a unique URL, and you can copy this URL, and similar like the Cloudflow endpoint URL, this is also a endpoint URL, and you can call this particular URL from Power Automate, and inside this Power Automate you can call your own business logic, you can call the APIs, external APIs and all. The advantage is there is an additional security. Any user in my tenant can call it, or you can specify a specific user as well. So this is also a way you can call the external APIs. Sometimes if you're already using this Power Automate, but on top of it, instead of directly calling this endpoint URL, if you want to wrap this URL with one additional layer of API called APIM. So how can I do that? So in that case, let me open the Azure to show you that. So portal. In the Azure portal, you have the APIM. I'm not sure whether you have already used it before, but APIM is also a way where you can provide an additional layer of security or create a new API. And internally, you can use the Power Automate endpoint URL. So you can see like if I go to the APIM. Okay, so I need to go to the different environment. Yeah, so here it is. So here you can see like if you log into the Azure, go to the API management, and I have already created a API management service called Automate POC. And inside that, you have an option called APIs. Okay. And inside that, you can create your HTTP APIs, different kind of APIs here. So I have already created API called Secure Power Automate. And there are a lot of options. I'm not going to discuss each and everything because APIM is a separate topic. And but here you can create your own operation like get orders or get events or whatever it is. But here you can see like in the back end, there is an option called HTTP endpoint. And here you can provide your URL, the endpoint URL of the Power Automate. Okay. So by doing that, whenever you call that API, for example, if you call this API Secure Power Automate, click on test. You can see like the URL of my API is like this. The Automate POC Azure API.NET Secure Power Automate Get Orders. This is the function name, operation name. And inside, whenever I call this API, it will internally call the Power Automate, will get the response back, and then I can do whatever logic I want. Okay. The advantage of doing that, I can have some additional layer of security on top of that because you can see there are a list of additional settings, additional security features like IP whitelisting, conditional access policies, region-based blocking, and a lot of things are there. So that I can provide on the API level. So that way also you can secure your APIs. Okay. So this is the demonstration of what are the different ways you can call the APIs. Now let's see the next topic that we have in the list is customizing headers, web links, and the navigations. Okay, all right. So this is also one of the common requirement. Let me close some additional browsers. Okay, so this is my design studio. Now the next demonstrate to you is by default when you create a website, you see like the layout is already defined based on the Bootstrap framework that you are using. Okay, you see like the header is already defined. The links will be appear on the top right corner. The middle section is the body part where you can display your own content, and the last is the footer. So this is the common layout you will see whenever you create a new website. But sometimes your client wants to customize this header part and they want to display all these links either in the right panel or in the left panel in the flyout way. For example, I want to create a hamburger icon in the left top corner. And when I click on that, it should display a right panel here and display all the links, whatever it's appearing on the top. Okay. So being a developer, being a UI developer, how can I do that? So there are two options. The first option is I will directly go with the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You will get plenty of example on the Google to create the fancy toolbar links that can open it in the left panel and the right panel. So that is also fine. But the main thing here is what kind of out of box capabilities you are still using. Okay, customization is fine, but what kind of out of box capabilities you are using? The challenge is if you write the complete custom code to design the menu or the toolbar, tomorrow if your client says like add a new menu link or delete any menu link from the list, or if they want to change the hierarchy of it. For example, right now we don't have any child links as such, but imagine if you have a child links and and your client wants to add some more child links or they want to change the ordering of it and something like that, right? So in that case, you need to change your code in that case. Okay. So how you can make your out of box component useful and still writing the code. So we have a component in the Power Platform, Power Pages called web link set. So if you go to the web link set in the left panel, so this is basically a component that basically hold that basically manage the toolbar or the menu on the portal. Okay, and there are different types of web links are there. The first is default. The second is the profile. Default means whatever links you see in the left panel. So if you go to the Design Studio, these are all the default links. Okay, because whenever you create a page for like this, it will automatically add it as a default navigation, right? So that's why whenever you create any link or any page here, it will goes in the default web link set where it is. Where it goes. Here it is. Okay, so whenever you create any, so for example, like if I open this default and hit the links tab, you can see all the links are there. Okay, and what are the profile links? Profile links means if you see in the right top corner, if you want to display any additional link here, then you want to create in the profile navigation. Okay, because sometimes I have seen like people organization wants to display the account as well in this list, my profile, my company, my account, something like that. So in that case, you don't need to create that link in the default section. You have to create in the profile section. Okay, and you can't do it from the Design Studio because I've never seen that option is there, because Design Studio currently have the capability of main navigation. It doesn't have the capability to show it in the profile navigation. So if I open the profile navigation, you can see currently I have only one link, that is called my profile. Okay, if I want to appear a new link on my account, I can directly create it from here like this, and then provide the name of that link. Publishing state should be published because I want to publish it to the website. And then here you can provide a web page name so that if user hit that particular button, to which particular page you want to redirect it to. Or if you want to take it to the user to the external URL, then you can provide the external URL as well. So this is basically the table or the component that basically manage all your links in the portal. So it's always a good idea that you store all the links here, but how to make it more intuitive, how to make it more fancy, you can write the JavaScript and CSS for that. Okay. One of the major limitation of one of the major limitation of these links right now, that only one level of child links you can display. So for example, like you can see in the English, you can see the one level of child links, English and the Swedish language. If I want, like I want to go one more deeper down, I want to show the child links for English as well, then it is not possible. And that is the limitation of portal right now. But sometimes you see like on the website, there are a lot of child links are there. Child of child links are also there. So in that case, it is not supported to do it on the out of box toolbar. So in that case also you need to create the custom links. Okay, so there are a couple of use cases for that. Either you want to create a more depth level of child links, or your client wants to create a fancy child links or the fancy toolbar links. So how can you do that? Okay, so first of all, all the your header, basically your this part. So for example, I want to create a hamburger link first of all in this area. Okay. So in order to do that, I'll go to the content snippet, and there is out of box content snippet available called mobile header. So mobile header is basically so mobile header is basically a content snippet, and it is out of box content snippet that basically handle this particular area, only this particular area where you can see this logo and the name of the website, not this the complete menu. Okay. So if I want to show the hamburger icon next to this or before this icon, then I need to play around with this content snippet called mobile header. Okay, so I'll directly go to the website that I have already created. So let me check first. And snippet. Yeah. So this is the website that I have created on the separate environment. So I can show it here directly that how it looks like. So you can see like I have created a hamburger icon in the left of the image. And if I click here, you can see like it display a flyout menu and all those links, whatever you see in the right panel appears in the left panel as well. Okay. And the advantage is I can go more deeper, more drill down to the child levels. Okay. In the similar way, you can do that. So how can I create this kind of link? So if I go to the content snippet, you can see like I have a mobile header. Just ignore the styling and everything that you can anyways control. Here you can see I have created a span just before the image and just put the hamburger icon and just on click of this hamburger icon, I'm calling a function called open nav. Okay. So everything, all the business logic is written in the open nav. If I go down, so here you can see this is my JavaScript function. So this is the main thing here. The first line, the code that I've written is I'm first fetching all the links which is stored in the default web links. Okay. Here I need to provide the same name of the web link that I'm storing. So for example, you can see here in the web links, if I go here, I have two types of web links, default and the profile. I want to retrieve all the links available in the default. So that's why I have given the name web links and default and will store it in the primary nav variable. So if the primary navigation has a lot of links, then I'm just doing the for loop and retrieving all the web links inside that. And here I'm providing the anchor tag, the URL of the web links and the name of the web links. And again, I'm drilling down to check like if those parent or if that parent link again have the sublinks, then I'm again doing the for loop, right? And you can write the different level of for loop to display the child level of links. So I've already shared this link or this code on my GitHub as well. So this is basically a way how you can simply create the custom menu or the custom links on the portal by still utilizing the out of box way. Now by using this feature, what you can do if in future if you are creating a new link in the web link set here, it will automatically appear in the custom menu as well. Okay, so this is the advantage of using it. Say if you go to the default, if you go to the links, you can see I already have all the links available. But tomorrow if I create a new web link, I don't need to go into my content snippet and change the code. It will automatically retrieve it from here and will display on the portal. Okay, so this is how you can customize the header, you customize the web links on the portal. Troubleshooting and the debugging of the Power Pages. Okay, now you have like there are different ways to customize the Power Pages site. So being a developer, you should aware about all the capabilities where you can do the troubleshooting and the debugging of the code. Okay, of course there is no way same like the Visual Studio Code that you can put the debugger and can do the debugging step by step, but at least we have a couple of ways that you should aware about it. So let me directly go to the troubleshoot part. All right. Okay. So the first way to troubleshoot your Power Pages site is enabling custom error. So enabling and disabling custom error are to link with each other. So enabling custom error means if any server side exception occur on the website, A customized error message with a user-friendly error message is shown by default. Okay. So by default, if something went wrong on the portal, especially on the production, you get to see this kind of error message. We are sorry, but something went wrong, and this kind of message, and error ID. But imagine your customer are facing this issue on the production and you have to troubleshoot that. So being a developer, how you can do that? Because this doesn't display anything about where to investigate and what is the root cause of that issue. Okay, so you always need to disable that custom error, and if you disable that custom error, then it will show this yellow screen of death error message. If you ever worked on the .NET, you have seen this screen a lot. Anything goes wrong at the server side, it will display the exact error message that is being generated from the server side. So you can disable the custom error and you can simply see the exact error message. On the development environment, you can always keep it to enable, or you can always disable the custom error. But on the production, you always need to enable the custom error so that you don't see that yellow screen. You always see this screen. Now, how you can do that? So for that, you need to go to the admin center. So you can see like this is the admin center where you can do all the kind of admin activities for the Power Pages site. So if you go to the site action, there is an option called disable custom error. If you click on this, it will convert to the enable custom error. Okay. So you can just simply enable and disabling from here. This is the step number one. Step number two, to troubleshoot customize error message. So sometimes when you see like this kind of error message, instead of showing the default error message or the default content presented by Microsoft, you want to show your own content. So how can I do that? So there is an option you can customize this error message as well by defining a content snippet called portal generic error. So you need to go to the content snippet, create a new content snippet with portal generic error. If you have multiple languages enabled, you create the content snippet for each language. And then in the HTML section or in the text message, you can provide your user-friendly error messages. And here you can see like this is basically the format of the error. The first is your content snippet. So you can only customize this particular yellow box. You can't change this error ID. You can't change this, everything, date and time and the portal ID. So this yellow box, you can change it by using this content snippet. Okay. Now another way, sometimes just seeing this error message is not enough to investigate the error or troubleshoot the error. You need the detailed log generated from the server side, because sometimes I have recently faced this issue with one of the customer when I was working with the portals. There was a very weird issue we were experiencing on the portal, and we have spent a lot of days to investigate and find the root cause of it, but we couldn't find out the issues. Then later on, we went ahead with this setting called error log setting, because when we raised the ticket with the Microsoft, they asked for if you have the detailed error log. So this is a very important settings where you can store the detailed error log of the website. It will help you investigate more deeper the portal issues. Okay. So in order to do that, again, go back to the the admin center. And in the admin center, you have an option called enable diagnostic logs. So if you enable the diagnostic log, you can select the period for how long you want to keep this log. Maximum is 180 days, or you want to keep it for always. And here you need to provide the connection string or the URL of blob storage. So this basically store the whole logs in the blob storage. So you need to have access of the blob storage or Azure portal. Now, how can you do that? If you go here, you can see like I have the Azure tenant, and you need to go to the storage accounts. If you don't have, you can create that if you have the license. And then here I have created a storage account called Power Guide. Click on the storage browser, click on the blob containers, and there you get portal error logs. So once you enable that, if you open it, so I don't have any logs for now. If I can see the B2C container, no, yep. So basically, I don't have any error logs now, but if you have any error occurred in your portal, you can see all the error listed here only. Let me check whether I have any error logs. All right, so I don't have any error logs as such, but if you have any errors, then you will find a CSV file over here. And if you can open it, you will get the detailed error message that you can also share it with Microsoft, or you can also investigate whether that issue is because of your client side code or because of the server side code. Because sometimes Microsoft asks you whether this error could be because of your own customization, right? Or it is throwing from the server side or from the Microsoft code side, so that you can check from here. So portal error log is basically providing the detailed error message to troubleshoot your issues. You can see here in the, I think it's in the telemetry log. Let me check whether I can find it here. Oh, sorry. So it's not in the portal error logs, it is in the telemetry logs. So when you go to the storage accounts, storage browser, and if you see the telemetry logs, you will find there is a specific folder gets created specific to your site. So this is the unique ID of my Power Pages site. If I open it, there are a couple of folders has got created. If I open the 2024, this is the error number 11. If I open it, just a minute. This is the error message for the portal. So if I download this and can download it from here, open it. So here you can see like the detailed error message. Application, instant ID, event click. Here you can see the find the detailed error message as well. So this error message is really helpful. I mean, not always necessary that you can fix this issue, but at least Microsoft can help you troubleshoot that issue, whether it's a server side error or your client side error. Okay, so you can see like the line number 73 search manager.css .cs. So this is basically generating from the server side. So this is the way how you can simply troubleshoot your error and you store it in the Azure blob storage. All right. Now the next topic is what are the other ways? Troubleshooting Power Pages site, displaying server side error log. Okay. Sometimes you have written some synchronous business logic like real-time workflows or the plugins, and they are throwing some error messages based on some business error or some condition that you have written in your code in the C# code. And if you want to display that error message, so like plugin always display the business process error, right? And if you want to display the same business process error on the portal, then you have to first create this site setting. Okay, so this site setting is not by default enabled. So you need to go to the site setting section, go to the site setting here. is the site setting, and then you need to create this site setting like this. Okay, and you need to turn on this setting associated with the website, set it to true. Okay, so once you do that, that means whenever any error throws from the plugin side or any real-time workflow side, it will display the exact error message on the portal. Okay. For example, like you want to enable the duplicate detection logic. So if duplicate data gets created, you want to throw the error message. So this kind of things you can do it using this error messages. If you don't do it, it will display some non-meaningful error message like maybe some unhandled issues occurred, something like that. So you will not be able to troubleshoot in that case. Okay. So just make sure like you enable these settings if you have uh, not the intentionally, sometimes some accidentally some error message are throwing from the backend. At least you should aware about it. This error is throwing from the plugin side. Okay. There is one more tool that Microsoft has recently introduced that is called Dev Tools. Okay. This Dev tool is basically is a kind of browser extension that Microsoft has recently introduced, and this is basically help you show all the server side errors which is being occurred. So you can see here like when I logged in onto the portal, while doing the sign in, I'm getting the error invalid sign in attempt. So being a developer, if I want to investigate that, I don't get any information how to troubleshoot that or how to find the root cause of that issue. But if I see the dev tool extension or the browser extension, I can see the internal error message and the mitigation steps to do that. Okay. This is a very good tool basically that Microsoft has recently developed. And how you can enable that. Let me see whether I can show it to you. Not sure whether it's already enabled. So if I go here, search for Power Pages, dev tool extension. No worries, let's directly search it on the Google, how Microsoft has provided the step to do that. So this is the DevTool extension. They have probably given the so Microsoft Power Page extension for Microsoft Edge. You can follow this instruction, go here, there we go, and then we can click on Get, add extension, and this will simply add it to your browser. Awesome. Now, how you can add that? So if I can go to the portal, if I do inspect, you can see there is a Power Pages extension got added automatically. Okay. So this is the way how you can simply add this extension. And if anything goes wrong at the server side, you can see the debug error messages as well. And this is also helpful when you are writing a liquid code. So as you can see, like I have written here, like if you are writing a liquid code and you want to just simply want to display some error message. If you ever written the plugins, we had used the trace messages like. So in the similar way, you can use this log message. So log is the keyword you have to use. Message, custom message, label warning. So if you write this, this will also display the custom message from from the liquid as well. Okay. So this is also very useful tool from the troubleshooting perspective. Okay, now let's see like what are the other topic. All right, so now implementing the web components. Azure AD B2C customization, and the Pages deployment strategy. I'll take a 10 minutes break. So I would recommend to you also take a break, have some coffee, and then I'll get back to you after 15 or 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. Not 15 minutes. I'll take only 10 minutes. Don't want to extend this training after 4 p.m. So let's continue this training after 10 minutes. So we will be get back on 3:30 p.m. IST. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back. Just few things I just wanted to say, I'll answer all these questions. So once the training is finished, definitely I didn't get a chance to look all this question yesterday because I had to prepare the trainings for 2 days, so I did not get the time. Today, after the sessions, I will try to answer all these questions. Probably, if I'll not be able to answer it, I can set up a new session, a 30-minute session, probably next weekend, called Ask Me Anything, where we can have a one-to-one discussion about all your queries. If I'll not be able to answer it, all right. And regarding the recordings, a lot of people are asking about they were not able to join it. Yes, once today's recording is done, I will do all kind of editing and everything. Then I will put it on my YouTube channel. Okay, so most probably in next 2 3 days, all the recordings will be available on my YouTube channel. I've already shared the links. And I'll also post it on the LinkedIn as well so that you can stay tuned for that. Okay. The last thing I'm just sharing the URL with you where you can share the feedback about this training. That will really helpful for me actually to organize such more trainings in the future and improve my training content as well. Okay. So now let's start with our rest of the topics. So basically, we have three more topics left for the day. Okay, can you please confirm me whether you can still hear me loud and clear and you can see my screen? Awesome. Okay, so the last three topics are implementing web components, how to customize the Azure AD B2C, and various deployment strategies. So as I was talking about, like web component is one of the new feature that Microsoft has introduced, and this feature is basically for the developer who are creating some reusable components. So the main objective of this feature is, you create a code that you feel like it can be reused on the multiple pages on the portal, and that could be that code or that component you can create using FetchXML, liquid code, CSS, HTML, and all the client side of language. You can use it, you can create it, and make it as a parameterized so that whenever someone is using it, you or as the other developer in their Power Pages side, they can simply pass the parameters and can start using it. Okay. So just for the demonstration purpose, I have created a web component called feedback. Okay. So for that, that feature is basically in the Power Pages Management tab. So you may also have this kind of business scenario where you need the reusability. So I think I have created a event feedback component. Okay. So there is a specific structure of that in order to create a component. So first of all, I'll go down and we'll see this manifest file. Okay. This manifest file basically decide the structure of this feedback component. Okay. Now here, the syntax is like type should be functional. Type should be functional means you want this web template should be available as a component within the design studio so that anyone can directly add it on your pages, right? So for example, like if you have seen, like whenever I create a new page, I have get list of options here like spatial, iframe, flex containers, and a lot of things are there. But there is a new heading called custom components. So this is the question, like, can I add or I can create my own component so that I can directly add it to the multiple pages? So you can see like I have created a component called post. Okay. And this post is nothing. This is the same component I have created. So type should always be functional. The display name is post. As you can see in the design studio, this is the post. You can also call it as a feedback. Description, you can keep it a meaningful description, and then tables. So tables basically from which table you want to interact with. Okay. Or if you want to export the data or read the data from the table, which table you want to use. So I'm using the feedback table. I have created a feedback table in the Dataverse where I have kept some of the uh, some basic information, some sample data, and then the parameters. It is very important, like whenever someone or the developer using this particular component into their pages, what are the parameters it requires? And based on the parameters, this component will be changed from the user experience perspective. Okay. So the ID should be unique and the display name should be meaningful and the description should also be meaningful. Okay. ID is the name. What should be the name of the person who is providing this feedback? How many number of counts of feedback you want to show it on the website? Columns means in a one column, how many, in a one row or one column, how many feedback you want to display? And then cutoff means how many feedback a particular user could submit between 1 to 5. And then there is a label, load more label, for example, if they want to load more feedback on the website. So it's up to you, like whatever parameter you want to pass it. Okay. So first you need to create a manifest file like this in your web template. And then it's time to write the fetch XML, the HTML code or CSS, whatever you want. Okay. So as you can see, like I want to retrieve all the feedbacks from the feedback table. So I have written a fetch XML, which is retrieving all the feedback from the event feedback table. And then based on the parameter, I'm basically dynamically changing the content of the data that I'm retrieving. Okay. So for example, count. So whatever count parameter value is, I'm just passing it to the post count parameter so that it display only those amount of count. So that, for example, I want to display only 5 feedback. So I will pass it as a 5 and it will only retrieve 5 records. Columns, and then the other parameters I've also passes and other attributes I've also passed it. And that's it. So it's just a simple HTML and the JavaScript I've also demonstrated at the time of liquid template page design as well. But here I want to keep it as a reusable component. Once I save it, we'll go to the design studio, reload the design studio, and you will find it as a custom component. Okay. Once you click on the custom component, so I have already added that on the feedback page. You can add a new page, go here and add a post like this. And you can see like you have an option called edit custom component. So here you can provide a title. For example, I will put a title called feedback. I will show the count called 5. Number of column, I can keep it 3. Limit of review 6. Load more label, I can provide load more. And if I click done, you can see it has added. Now if I hit preview, so this is the event page and you can see like it has pulled the information from the feedback table. Since I provided the column 3, so it has displayed only 3 boxes in a row. And how I have designed this and everything, it depends on what kind of HTML or you have written here. So I have written this simple HTML to design the feedback like this. This is the name of the person who has provided the feedback. And this is the feedback content and this is the time. And this is basically showing like how many feedback a person are allowed to provide. And this is the load more level. Okay. So this is simply a reusable component kind of I have created. I have seen like people also created some kind of carousel. For example, you have created an image gallery or you have created some any additional component that you want to display it on each pages. For example, some kind of advertisement or some kind of message that you want to display, some marquee tag kind of things, some images that you want to display on top of each pages. So instead of writing the code on each pages again and again, you can simply create that as a component. and just go to the page and simply added that as a component. So this is also a very usable feature in order to create the reusable component. Now the next topic is advanced Azure AD B2C customization. So as we have seen yesterday, you can integrate the Azure AD B2C pages, Azure AD B2C identity provided with the Power Pages. So if I can go to my website, I can quickly show you that. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. Let me plug in the charger. All right. So if you have to customize the portal uh, login page, so this is a different website. So let me show you like how you can do that because I have already customized Azure AD B2C pages there. By the way, if you want to know about this Azure AD B2C integration and how to customize these pages in the step-by-step articles, basically I have given two very good session in Zero to Hero mentorship challenge organized by Victor. So Victor has already organized this session few months before, and I have given very detailed discussion. I have given very detailed discussion about how you can customize Azure AD B2C pages, how to use the custom policies, and how you can automate the B2C authentication and everything. So probably I'll share that link with you, and I think those are available on my YouTube channel as well. So if you find it useful, you can watch those videos as well. But in this training, I just wanted to give a quick overview of how you can customize that. So if you can see, like if I signing in out from the portal, if I hit sign in, if I go to the Azure AD B2C, so you can see like I have completely customized this whole page. This login screen. Let me see like why it's not loading. Yeah. So you can see like I have provided some background images. I have changed the look and feel of the login screen. I have added my own logo and then some shadow effects. So this is just an example, okay? And I'm not a good UI developer, but just an example. If you want to match this with your company branding or you want to customize this B2C page, then what are the different options you have? Okay. So for that, first of all, you need to open the uh, Azure AD B2C tenant in your environment. So I need to switch the directory. So in the Azure B2C tenant, there is an option to provide the custom HTML page URL create the user infrastructure. Switch to directory. So this is my Azure AD B2C tenant. And then here I need to click on the user flows. And here you can see like I have created multiple user flows. If I go to the sign up and sign in user flow, run it and run it on the user browser, then you can see like I have changed the look and feel of it like this. Okay. So basically, when you go to the page layout section in the specific user flow, and if you go down, there is an option called custom page content. Okay. By default, it's set to no. Okay. And but if you want to change it, you can just turn it toggle to yes. And you need to provide the custom page URL. And you can see here, it is just a simple HTML page. But this HTML page should be available either publicly somewhere or publicly hosted somewhere, or it should be stored in the blob storage. Okay. So I have created a HTML page and store it in the blob storage, and I have provided the URL over here. Okay. Now there is a steps to customize that, because it's not like it's an HTML page and you can just simply create your own HTML and paste it here. No, it's not like that, because there are a lot of controls like this email address, this password, forget password and everything. You need to use the same control. You don't need to create your own HTML elements and everything. Of course, you can change the look and feel of it, but the major functionality, the major component that use it on the sign up and the sign in flow, you need to use those controls. So there is a article that Microsoft has provided. I think, yeah. So this is the one. I can share it that with you. So customize the user interface with HTML element templates in the Azure Directory B2C. So the step number one, you just need to go down. Step number one is you first need to download the template, because you need to first know what is the default template basically applied on the B2C login or the sign up page or the password reset page. So these are the three types of templates Microsoft use it: ocean blue, slate gray, and the classic one. Okay. So you can copy this and run this command in your VS Code, and this will simply download the HTML templates folder in your local machine, and you will find these three templates over there. Okay. Now in the each template, for example, by default, you see the ocean blue one. So if you see the ocean blue one, you will find the unified HTML file inside that in your local machine. So you can see like this HTML is by default applied on the B2C page. And here you can see there are some fonts are applied. There are some images are being applied, some SVG for Facebook, LinkedIn, GitHub. You can see some of the images are being applied, and there are some styling is there. Okay, and the major thing here is this part. So there is a div called ID equal to API. So whatever HTML, CSS, JavaScript or styling you are going to change in this HTML, you need to ensure like this particular line should not be changed. Okay, because this particular line load all the controls that you see it on the page. Okay, so for example, like whatever controls you are seeing right now, this the username, password, forget password, sign in button, because you know like everything, whatever written the logic. For example, if I click on sign in, so whatever logic is written in the server side code, you cannot change that, right? So you need to use that line of code, and except that you can write your own HTML, you can change the CSS, you can change this, the images and everything. Now imagine you have got this HTML file, Now, how you can customize that? So I'm not going to share that thing because you can simply customize this HTML and everything. But I'll show you like how you can upload this HTML file to the blob storage. So now I'll go to my B2C directory and then I go to the storage account. So storage account, the same thing that I demonstrated to you while storing the portal logs. So that is the same. And now we will use that to store the HTML file. Okay, so imagine you downloaded this HTML, you made all the changes in your favorite editor, maybe in the Notepad++, VS Code, and the Visual Studio, whatever changes you have done in this HTML file. Now you are ready to upload it. Okay, so in order to upload that, okay, then you need to go to the storage account. So I have a different user, one connect to the storage account and one connect to the B2C tenant. So it's always takes time to load it. Let me see whether this time it works. Okay, all right, so this is my storage account. If you don't have you need to go to the storage browser and then you can see hope I'm not lost. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen still? Hello, can you please confirm me whether you can hear me loud and clear? Hello, hello, hello. Hello guys, can you hear me now? Okay. All right, can you see my screen as well? Please confirm. Can you see my screen? All right. Okay, so what I was explaining is you need to go to the storage account, storage browser, and there is an option called blob containers. Okay. And inside the blob containers, where we were storing the portal error logs in the telemetry logs, there is a B2C container I have created. So you need to create a storage container here. And then here you can see like there are a lot of folders I have created. So you can also create those folders. So for example, one folder I've created to store the images, fonts. There are some white background images. There are some colored images. So all those images I have created here. And there I have the unified.html file. So the one that I was demonstrating here, you need to make all the changes, HTML styling and everything. And then you need to click here, upload, and then you need to upload all the files, whatever it is, okay, your HTML and everything. Now in this HTML file, how you can provide the URL of your images and everything, because it should not the URL of your local machine or some other domain, okay? So for example, like if I can go to the colored images, so this is the image of Amazon. If I click here, you need to copy this URL. So you need to copy this URL and then paste it in your, you know, this is the URL section. Okay. Then you need to update all this, the URL section, and then you have to upload that HTML file. Okay. So this is the way you have to refer. So if you are using any CSS, any external CSS also, then also you have to do it. Sometimes you might need to write your own JavaScript, because sometimes the people has a question like, can I write my own business logic? For example, if I hit sign in, I want to display some custom error message like this domain is not allowed or something like that. So you can simply inspect it. You can check the ID element of it, and you can start. Can you check? Is there any question? Okay. And then you can write your own JavaScript as well. Okay, so this is the way. As you can see, like I have created a custom JavaScript file, and here I can write my jQuery, my JavaScript, or whatever business logic you have, uh, and you can play around with the HTML elements as well. So this is the way, and once you're done with the HTML changes, this is the URL you need to copy and then go back to your sign in page, and then need to paste it over here. And this is not only about the sign up. You can also change it for password reset and whatever user flow you are using. Okay, so this is the way how you can simply customize. So you can see like I'm not using for password reset, but if you want for password reset, you have HTML called self asserted. For each kind of page, you have a different kind of HTML. So you need to download the self asserted CS HTML in that case. If you can go here. So there is a file called self asserted. So this is basically for password reset, forget password and everything. So for that, you can customize this on your local machine and upload it back to blob storage. Okay. So this is how you can customize the Azure B2C pages. The last one is the Power Pages deployment. Now, what are the deployment options that you have? So basically, in order to deploy the Power Pages, we have, let me go to that slide deck first. So basically, we have a couple of options to deploy the Power Pages site. The first option is the solution-based deployment, and that is the completely manual one, and for low-code developers as well, and for pro-code developers as well. So this is basically an approach where you can deploy the Power Pages site, same like the other Dataverse component. So for example, if you go to the solution here in the Design Studio, like you already created a solution called Power Pages Workshop. And as I told, like from the day one itself, whatever customization you are doing in the Dataverse or in the Power Pages, you just keep a hold in the solution. Okay, you create all the components inside the solution. So here you can see all the components of Dataverse, but I don't see any site. How I can add my website here in the solution. So just click on the add existing. You will see a site option here. Okay, just click on the site. And you can see right now in this environment, I have two sites. So I select this site, click on add. This will take a couple of minutes to add all the components of that site. Components of the site means whatever customization I have done, whatever configuration I have made, For example, web pages, forms, list, permissions, web roles, content snippet, web templates, everything will get added into the solution. Okay. And then once the components get added, you can take the export of the solution and deploy it to the target environment, right? So in the earlier version of the portal, now you can see like a site component site has been added, and there is a new component called site component. So you have created total 234 component. Some of the components you might not have changed, but they are still added to your solution. Some of the components are being changed. Okay. Now the another thing is that once you deploy this solution to the target environment, and in your target environment, let's say in the production, you found some issues in the JavaScript, or you have to make some changes, or you have to fix something in the development environment. So in that case, you again have to come to the development environment. You need to fix those specific script or web page or content, whatever it is. Then you need to come to the solution. In the site, just click on three dots, click on the site, click on three dots, advanced, and you need to click on add required objects. Every time, don't forget to add this, because this basically makes sure like all the necessary components have been added. Now, this is basically needed when you are creating a new component, not if you are updating an existing component. Okay. So for example, if any component is already there in your solution and you just made the adjustment in the JavaScript and anything, so you don't need to add this. But imagine you have created a new content snippet in the dev, which is not there in the production. So then in that case, you need to open the solution, click on the site, advanced, and add required objects. And you will see the number of site components will get increased. Okay, so this is how you can do the solution-based deployment. Now, what are the limitations of using solution-based deployment? So first of all, the solution-based deployment doesn't support the incremental deployment. It is the current limitation, but it's not going to be the limitation in the future, because Microsoft is soon providing the incremental deployment feature as well. So this is the current limitation. So for example, if you just need to fix a JavaScript, or you are just creating a new component after the full deployment, every time you have to do the full deployment. Okay, you can't do the deployment of a single page or a single forms or a single content snippet. A single changes in your portal requires the whole deployment. So this is the current limitation as of now in the solution. Okay. And whenever you are doing a solution-based deployment, your site must be in the enhanced data model. Okay. So there are two kinds of data model. The one is standard and the second is enhanced. Okay. So if I go to my Power Pages site, open this, you can find that information like what kind of data model your site is using. So you can see like my data model is right now in the enhanced data model. If you have created your site a few months before, then you might not be on the enhanced data model, but Microsoft is planning to migrate all the standard to the enhanced data model automatically. Okay, in couple of more months. But whenever you are creating a new site, then it is going to be the enhanced data model. So this solution deployment capabilities of site is only available in the enhanced data model. The second option of deployment is Power Platform Pipeline. So like now you can deploy the portal using Power Platform Pipeline as well. So if you go to the solution, there is a pipeline option over here. So I have not set up the Power Platform Pipeline and I cannot demonstrate that because again, it's going to take time. But if we can simply see that Power Platform Pipelines, it is a new feature that Microsoft has introduced for low-code developers that provide the governance and everything. You can set up the pipelines within the Power Platform environment, and you can simply deploy that using the pipeline. Okay, so this is also a feature. So if you can see here, if you can select the pipelines, you can simply deploy your select the pipeline called ABC pipeline, and then you can deploy it from development to the test stage to the production. So this is also a kind of manual work, not kind of fully automation, but it has some kind of governance features like you can include the approval in between. So for example, whenever you are trying to deploy from development to production or the UAT, it will first send an approval email or notification to the approver. Once they will approve it, then only you will be able to deploy it. Okay, but that is also not a fully automated way. The way you are deploying the whole solution manually, it can only deploy using pipeline. Okay. The third way of doing it is a Power Platform CLI. It is also a partially automated way. It is also not a fully automated way, but that is basically for the pro code developer. I think I have written incorrectly. This is basically for the pro code developers. And how you can do that? So you can see like I have this VS Code online, desktop version available on my desktop. You can also download free VS Code desktop version. And then you can play around with, or you can do the customization or development of the portal from your local machine as well. Okay. Now, how can I do that? So first you need to download this VS Code online, VS Code desktop on your local machine. Then there is a step-by-step article that Microsoft has provided. So you can see this. Use Microsoft Power Platform CLI with Power Pages. So first you need to do is you need to authenticate. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to export all your portal configuration on your local machine. So you need to first connect with the respective environment, right? So you need to connect first. So you need to copy this pack command. So just go to the terminal, new terminal, and paste your command like this, and replace this particular URL with your environment. For example, if I go here, this is the environment URL I have. This is the org URL. Okay, copy it, go to the VS Code, paste it like this. So once you do it, hit enter. It will ask for the credentials and everything. But since I have already made the connection before, so I might not be get this option. Can't resolve what's supposed to be it. No. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me start a new window here. Go to terminal, new terminal. Command number one is you need to connect with your environment. Okay. And go to your portal. And this is the URL I have. It's basically trying to connect with my organization. So this is the one I have connected. You can see like its authentication is successful. It's connected. So once it is connected to my dev environment, I can uh, use step number 2, list available website. So this is basically providing the list of website that I have in my environment, so that I can specify like which website data or configuration I want to export on my local machine. So you can see right now I have 2 websites, Power Guide Event Hub and Event Workshop, but I want to export the Power Guide Event Hub. So the third step is download website content. Copy this. I can paste it on the notepad probably like this and paste it like this. So pack Power Pages, download, and then this is the path that I have to provide where I want to take the export. So let me delete this one now like this. And then I have to provide the unique ID of the website. And the model version 2 means it's an enhanced data model. If you don't want, if you have not clear about like which version you are using, you can go here and use this command. Mm, This one, pack power pages list -v. This basically provide either 1 or 2, meaning 1 means you are on the standard data model, 2 means you are on the enhanced data model. So that you can check, and based on that you can provide. So once I hit download, it will start download all the components on my local machine and in the folder called download. So you can see like it start downloading everything. So this is the way how it can download everything. Once the download is completed, you can directly open that folder like this. It will be available like this. When you export each and everything, you can see on your local machine, you will have the content snippet list, templates and everything. And you can see like there is some additional capabilities compared to VS Code online version. What you can see, like if you can right click here, any of the folder, there is a Power Pages option. And here you can directly create the web page, templates, web template, content snippet, and the web file. So whatever you were doing in the Design Studio or in the Power Pages Management tab, you can do it directly here as well. You can create a page and then you can start doing all the kind of CSS, HTML, and JavaScript kind of work. So now the question is, once my development is done on my local machine, how can I import the changes back to the Dataverse? So the last command is change your website content locally. And then finally, you have to upload the changes. So to upload the changes, you need to use this command. I'm not going to use that right now, but you can use this command. You need to provide the path where you have exported the portal components, and then you have to upload it back. Okay. So this is the way how you can simply do that. One additional thing here is deployment profile. Now, what is deployment profile here? Sometimes when you are deploying your website to the multiple environments like UAT, production, or SIT, there are few settings you want to keep it environment specific. Okay. For example, like I am currently on the dev portal, and in the dev portal, you want to display some different logo, or you want to in the, if you can see like in the browser, you want to display the dev so that you can you can easily identify it's a dev portal, it's a UAT portal, it's a prod portal. So anything, sometimes you have some specific site settings that you want to keep it unique for dev, UAT, and the production. Sometimes you may have some unique content snippet. So for UAT, you want to display some different content. For portal, for production, you want to show different. So basically, you can have the different files or unique files across the environment. So to do that, you can create an environment, a deployment profile file. So you can see here, just right click on the root folder like this, and then create a new folder. Okay. And once you create a new folder, you can provide a name deployment-profile. You can take the example from here, deployment-profiles. And inside that profile, you need to create a file for each environment. So for example, for dev, you can create a file dev.deployment.yml because it's a YAML file. Same for the UAT, same for the production. You can create multiple files. And this is the syntax that how you can keep the data inside that. So for example, you can see there is a content snippet, name of the table, record ID. This is the name of the content snippet GUID, the name of the content snippet, browser title suffix, and this is the ADX value. Okay. Now, if you provide this particular value in the dev.deployment YAML, and if you deploy the portal to the UAT, you will see the custom portal dev will not be displayed there. Okay. You can see here for dev, you have created the custom portal. Sorry, this is, I think, this is for one environment you have changed to custom portal, and this is for custom portal dev. Okay. And you can see like once you deploy the portal, In the one portal, you can see the custom portal without dev. And in the another portal, you can see custom dev with dev, portal with dev. So this is the way how you can distinguish the configuration from dev to UAT or the production. Okay. And if you want to deploy your Power Pages using the deployment profile, then you have to use this particular Power Platform CLI command instead of using this. This is without the Power Platform without the deployment profile, and this is with the deployment profile. Okay. Now, this is the way how you can do the customization in your local machine, and you can use the Power Platform CLI to deploy the portal. The last option that you have is that a fully automated way is the Power Platform build tools. Okay. And I have also created my own tools specific for the portals, that is Power Pages build tools. So there are two tools, Power Platform build tools, and this is an Azure DevOps based extension. Okay, so this is the Microsoft provided tool, and you might have used this tool for your Dataverse component deployment or solution deployment as well. So Microsoft has also provided some task for, I can probably Microsoft has provided some CI/CD pipeline build task to deploy the portal as well. So if you can see, like, this is my DevOps. And if I go to the pipelines, I've already created a pipeline called portal CI pipeline. And if I go to add it, you can see like they have provided Power Portal. No, not this. I think I need to go here. You need to search for that. And you can see that Microsoft has provided a build task called download PA portal. So this, you can use it in your CI pipeline, and upload PA portal, you can use it in your release pipeline. Now, if you add this, you can see like you can use the service principal to connect with your data. If you have MF enabled, then it's always a good practice that you are connecting using service principal instead of using username and password. Here you need to provide the download path in your repository. For example, I want to download my portal components to this folder like this. And here you need to provide the ID of your website. So whatever things you were doing it manually in your terminal, right? So we have done all the things here, right? We had provided the path, we had provided the website ID. The same thing you have to do it here as well. Okay, so it's a one-time activity, and then you can select the override data. So every time you take the export, it will override the existing data. You can exclude the tables here. So this is a very good, feature in the CI/CD pipeline. You can display, you can put the logical name of all the tables that you want. You don't want to take the export every time from the Power Pages site, and the version of the model. So this particular line task, you have to use it in your CI pipeline. And if you go to the release pipeline, edit, and here you can use the upload PA portals. So whatever portal content you have downloaded, you can provide the uploaded path here. And once you upload, you can also provide the deployment profile option as well, so that every time when you are deploying the portal or migrating the portal, it will actually make sure like it has to refer the SIT deployment file that will have the SIT specific site settings or the content snippet. Okay. So this is how Microsoft has provided to automate the deployment process. And so Microsoft tool is not only for the portal, but it also used for the solution deployment for your Dataverse component as well. So as you can see, like I'm using for exporting the solution and the other things as well. But if you only want to use it only for the portal, so I have also created my tool that is Power Pages build tools. And that is specific for the Power Pages. Okay, so you can see like 1,284 downloads are done recently. And this tool basically provide only 3 tasks. Portal tool installer that actually install all the kind of Node.js npm in the on the virtual machine, export portal configuration and import portal configuration. So it's up to you whether you want to use this free tool or you also want to use the Power Platform build tools. It's up to you. Okay. Now, the one more thing that I want to highlight here, so this all the process for the Pro Code developer and they are fully automated. I can also put fully automated here. There is a latest feature that Microsoft has also provided on the site setting. Okay. One of the major limitation when you are doing the solution based deployment is your every time when you are doing the deployment, your site setting was getting overridden with the source environment. Imagine you were working in the Azure B2C configuration. So for example, if I go here, the edit part, and you know, like yesterday we have done some settings related to the Azure AD B2C, right? So if I go to the security, identity providers, AD B2C, so these site settings are specific to the Azure AD B2C for dev environment. Okay. And these settings will be different for UAT, SIT, and the production. So imagine if I'm deploying the portal from dev to the UAT or the production, these site setting will override the site setting that I already have in the production, right? So this should not happen. And this was the major limitation. So every portal deployment, after every portal deployment, we had to do this as a post deployment activity that whenever we deploy the portal, we had to manually change these site settings. Either you can manually change the site setting, or if you are using the portal based deployment, then you can exclude those files. As I've shown you in the pipeline, in the download PA portal, there is an option called exclude. So either I can exclude this particular table if you are using this portal pipeline or CI/CD pipeline. But if you are using the solution-based deployment, then you had to override this manually. Okay. But now Microsoft has introduced a new feature a couple of weeks before that you can keep this site setting in your environment variables. Okay. So if I go to the website, go to the site setting in the Power Pages Management tab. If I open any of the B2C or any of the site setting, for example, this one, you see like there is a source option they have provided. So source means whether you want to store this particular site setting in the site setting table itself, or you want to keep it in the environment variable. So you can store it in the table. If your site setting is not going to be changed in the target environment, you can keep it in the table. But if your site setting is going to be the change or the value is going to be the change, then you keep it in the environment variable. Select that environment variable here. First create that environment variable, provide that value over there, and then select that environment variable. Okay. So this is the new feature that Microsoft has introduced. So by doing that, you don't need to do the post deployment activities using solution deployment. That environment variable will automatically take care of it. Okay, so solution-based deployment is the future. Microsoft is working on that. I know like there are still limitations, and but that is the best way of deploying the Power Pages site. And the another way of deploying that provide the automation is the CI/CD based deployment. But sometimes in most of the organization, you don't have the license of the Azure DevOps CI/CD and everything. So in that case, you may not be able to use it. So that's why I've told you like there are a couple of ways to do that, like build tools and solution-based deployment or the Power Platform-based deployment. Okay. So that's it for now. I think I tried to cover each and everything. And if you have any questions, yes, Pawan, I can put your mic. Just a minute. Yes, I have turned on your mic, so you can ask your question. You need to unmute yourself, Pawan. So Pawan, you need to unmute yourself. You are currently mute if you are speaking. Sorry, I can't hear you. Are you not able to unmute your mic? Can you post it in the chat, please? Oh, you are not able to unmute. Okay. Not sure why it's. That's strange because I have provided you with the option. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not sure why you are not able to unmute yourself, but can you post your question in the chat so that I can answer?